Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Hollywood After Dark. It is January 27th, 2023. Tonight's a very special, very endearing episode of Hollywood After Dark, where we take a look at one of the biggest effing morons on YouTube, who I don't understand how anyone takes this guy seriously. It's the grift that keeps on grifting, folks. That's right, Critical Drinker. What a fucking moron. All of that tonight and some news. Hollywood After Dark, folks. Let's fucking go. Hey, oop. There we go. On that one, I forgot to take down the thing. What's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome to the party. Welcome to the show. Of course, it is Friday night. It is Hollywood After Dark. HWAD Squad represent. Go ahead, smack on that like button if you guys want to. Tonight's going to be a very interesting evening, folks, because I had a thought. I had a little bit of an epiphany, so to speak, right? As much as I love just talking about movies and I love just breaking it all down, we don't do enough Chud Watch on the channel. So I think tonight we're going to do a very special episode of Chud Watch. And maybe going forward, we can at least round out the month. We can do Hollywood After Dark Chud Watch night, where we just find like the most absurd shit from the month, laugh at it for a while, break it down, debunk it as always. At least get it out of our system once a month. All right. I think that's okay to do. Have a little bit of fun on that one, right? Because the rest of the time is going to be a good time. But oh my God, folks, if you know this video that we're going to be watching tonight, if you know this video that he put out, holy effing shit. It's crazy. Zachary here says, all in favor of hacking Critical Drinker's YouTube channel and changing his channel name to the Grifting Dixit. Say aye. Well, I don't support hacking or any other kind of illegality out there, Zachary, but you know what? In solidarity, I'm gonna give it a thing. There we go. Spherical Manor says, Jarbo, try to be as fair to Critical Drinker as you would be to James Gunn or Jared Leto. Oh my God. So yeah, let me get that. Oh my God. Folks, I know. Look, I gotta admit this. I just gotta come out and say I'm a glutton for fucking punishment. I've been honest about this. I've been open about this. It's been a problem of mine. Okay, it's fun to watch a train wreck, and then sometimes you feel like you just want to get in and find a way to keep kicking the train. I guess I don't know. So tonight I'm listening to Mad Max. He's like an hour late for his own stream. I can't really criticize that. I'm like 20 minutes late for my own, but he's talking about like James Gunn and Jared Leto, and everyone's like, the two don't have the similar situation, right? It's a little bit different. And then Max is like, no, but like James Gunn's tweets, and everyone's like, Jared Leto was actual accusations levied against him. James Gunn just said some dumb shit. Yeah, I know, but James Gunn's tweets. And it was one of the most mind-numbing things I've ever seen. I love Max to death. He knows this. Oh my God, it's so frustrating to listen to, guys. Like, honestly, I almost want to do a Chud Watch for Max. Like, just the opening of his stream tonight. Because like, that's how bad it is. That is how bad of a take it is. The joke I made on his stream was like, someone could sit there and go, well, Max, Hitler did a lot of bad things. There's the Holocaust, there's all World War II. And then Max's response would be, yeah, but James Gunn's tweets. I mean, obviously the two are not connected, clearly. That's the point, that they're not connected. But for some reason, there's biases against James Gunn, and those biases are coming out in very ridiculously stupid fucking ways. But there is a super chat to get to right off the bat with Simon. Thank you so much, Simon, for the $10. Really appreciate it, buddy. Saying, what's up with the news that there's no Orville season 4? Say it ain't so, Jarbo. Time for a GoFundMe for an R-rated Orville. Maybe this may be the closest we'll ever get to the Tarantino Star Trek. Well, for one, I think there's been no update on season 4 of the Orville. That doesn't mean that it's not happening. It just means that there's no update. There's an article today on Dark Horizons. Let me actually, I saw the headline. I didn't grab it for the news segment of everything, but the president of ABC Entertainment and Hulu and Disney branded television was asked about it, and he says, we don't have anything to share right now. It's a great show, and I know that the fans loved having it back in their lives, and Seth MacFarlane did a good job as uniquely as he can in front and behind the camera, but we don't have anything to share at the moment. So that basically means that they haven't renewed it, but it doesn't mean that it's canceled. Here's my take on that for the most part. What I think's going on with that is the show had some issues. Okay. And I don't mean like with the show itself. I mean with the distribution. So 3 years ago at Comic-Con 2019, they announced that season 3 was going to be Hulu exclusive. Then of course the pandemic hit, shut everything down, took forever for season 3 to come on out. They put it up on Hulu week to week. I think it did pretty well on streaming, but then all of a sudden Disney moved it over to Disney Plus. Now moving it over to Disney Plus is a massively, massively big and good thing that they could have done, because that now opens it up to a ton of new viewers. And I'm wondering if they're still gauging how well it's done on Disney Plus and where they find themselves right now, considering that there's a managerial issue. They just had Bob Chapek yeeted, brought back Bob Iger. I don't really know where Bob Iger stands in regards to science fiction. They also just dropped all of that money to become the streaming home for Doctor Who, which is still one of the biggest shows in the world. Willow is a big budget show that I don't know how well that did because no one really talked about it. Andor was massively budgeted, did pretty well on there. Same with Book of Boba Fett. I think they're trying to like figure out how much money is going to be in the Orville. Now, the other side of that is this, all right? Like for one, the show never released on Blu-ray. Seasons 1 and 2 were only on DVD. They've done a couple comic books. There is a very devout and diehard fan base. But the weirdest thing about that is that they just, like, they're not promoting it in the way that they should. Now, I want to do a standalone like commentary about this, and I'll give you a brief overview right now. There is, if you want to know why The Walking Dead was as popular as it was, really, truly, if you want to know one of the reasons why it was able to have that staying power right off the bat, is because the talent behind the show, specifically the showrunners, producers, and writers, reached out to the fans talking about it. The guys behind the Walker Stalker Con have a podcast. I forget what it's called right now, but the podcast started off back in 2010 talking about each episode of the show. Remember, only 6 episodes during the first season. Started talking about it. I think by season 2, Greg Nicotero, who was show running it after Frank Darabont left the show after season 1, he reached out to these guys and started talking with them, started going on, giving them information, giving them behind the scenes stuff, giving them all of these things, and doing it in a way that would allow them to like get information out to the fans and start building up that trusted fan base and going out from there. And those guys took that, nurtured that, expanded upon it, got more people from the show on there, got more information, and they were able to turn it into a juggernaut powerhouse type event. They do conventions. You know what I mean? They've got their own convention for The Walking Dead that's massively popular. And it started because you had passionate fans being supported by the people behind the product. Now, the Orville, in some respects, has that with some of the producers. They've been able to reach out to some channels. I know Nerdrotic was a big supporter of the Orville. I think even Seth MacFarlane follows him to this day, which is just fucking disgusting, but whatever. Because whatever, right? If you know anything about Nerdrotic, you know why that's disgusting. And so it's all that shit. It's all that shit where it's just all for some fucking idiotic, dumb, dipshitted reason. These showrunners, these talents behind these shows that are reliant on numbers and reliant on people being engaged in talking about it in order to keep the social media profile high, in order to keep the conversation going and moving and flowing. It has to be fluid like a fucking river, feeding into an ocean and getting the attention. You guys know, I mean, it's a weird analogy, I'll fully admit, but you guys know what I'm trying to say here. That's the big factor. The big factor is that Orville tried back in the day. It was getting the fans from 2017 to 2019 when the show came out from season 1 to season 2, and it helped push it from Fox over to Hulu. And then for some reason, during like the Hulu run, and then the movement from Hulu over the Disney Plus, right after the show came out, I think, or even when it was still going on, I forget the date specifically, it's just caused confusion. And I think that's the biggest problem, because people who know about Hulu and Orville being on that for that might be a thing, but they may not know anymore. You know what I'm saying? I'm just talking about that kind of shit. H Barts, thank you very much. Asking $2 here. Did you pick up the Blu-ray? I did not get the chance to get over there this afternoon. I will tomorrow. I had my kids with me. It was very difficult. There we go. Let's see. Spherical Man here calls it. This says, I listened to that podcast. I forget the name. The Walking Dead cast. There you go. There you go. So, you know, we've got, let's see. That dude Vince says, Hulu original executive said nothing has happened with season 4. Honestly, I doubt that it happens. It took a long time to get it going. Okay. Spherical Manor says, well, ABC Disney are about to shell out over $200 million to Roseanne for what? I mean, a payout, or like the fact that the Connors is still going real strong? I don't know. But what about the tweets? I know exactly. Exactly, guys. I know, guys. I know. Do a Chud watch for Max. We should. Absolutely. Anyway, guys. Okay. So why don't we, as we're 12 minutes into this bit, let's talk about some news. If you guys don't know what's been going on with the show recently, I've started to do a little bit of a divvying up thing. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to be talking about some news tonight, obviously, before getting into the Chud Watch over Mr. Critical Drinker here. So it's going to be kicking off the series called Hollywood Before Noon. This is not the thumbnail that's going to be on tomorrow's episode, but it is the thumbnail from the other day. This is the recap news section of Hollywood After Dark. That's a little less spicy. It's all of the news, only some of the funny. And people who just want to get that can get that. There's timestamps on that, everything else. And it's generally going to be more monetized because I'm not going to say dirty things. So there's that. Also, by the way, just because I want to put it out there again, and I want to say thank you guys. The support so far for Podio Commentary has been pretty good. It's been growing steadily. The channel has been gaining some new subscribers. The podcast has been getting some new listens. And the newest episode is all about The Mist. You guys can head over to Podio Commentary on YouTube or anywhere you get your podcasts. Listen to that 44-minute long episode. Also, I've been doing some YouTube shorts that have tidbits of information as a way to kind of bolster some of the activity over on that channel. So again, I really appreciate everybody who's been checking it out. Thank you guys very, very much. So, all right, let's talk about this news today. This very first thing popping up today. Tomb Raider film in the works as Amazon makes rich rights deal for Marvel-like franchise. This is so massive to me, you guys. You guys have no freaking idea how cool this is. Right, I'm a long time Tomb Raider fan. I'm talking the 90s, baby. I'm talking, polygon titties. Yeah, I said it. We're talking like full on, just nipples that can cut glass because they literally were diamond shaped. The game was great. I love all the Tomb Raider games. Like the movies. I do. I like the movies. It's been almost 21 years since the first Tomb Raider movie came out. We had to span the 3 films during that time period. And they're all good in their own right. They are. I really enjoyed 2018's version of it, how it very much was a telling of the video game reboot from 2013, which is a game that I've played probably about 10 times now. I love the 2013 reboot of Tomb Raider, and I enjoyed the sequels as well. But that first one for me really kind of does it. And I'm really interested to see exactly what's going to be happening here. So this is what we know. Amazon is teaming up with Dimitri M. Johnson's DJ2 Entertainment to build out a connected world of the Tomb Raider franchise. This includes a feature film, a TV series written by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who has an overall deal with Amazon. She did Fleabag. She did some of the dialogue on No Time to Die for the last Bond movie. She was L7 in Solo. I mean, whatever you want to take from that one. But she's a really talented writer. And I'm excited to see how she's able to tackle this, to be fair. So this is, so she's at least going to be doing one of these things here. Now, the idea overall is to create an interconnected world similar to what Marvel has already accomplished with the MCU. Think about that. They want to create an MCU-like interconnected universe of Lara Croft. Now, to me, That's interesting, right? I don't know how well it's going to work because the world of Lara Croft, while big and expansive, and it definitely has its villains, there's not really a lot there that we've met as often in regards to other heroes. Now, Amazon, according to a source, is apparently making one of their larger commitments to this. Like, just like the one they did with Lord of the Rings back in 2017, when they dropped, $250 million to the Tolkien estate in order to secure the rights. And that was actually a lesser deal than what Warner Brothers or HBO had put up for the possibility of tackling that particular franchise again. It was Netflix. I'm sorry. Netflix actually had offered up, I think, like $275, and Amazon came in with a lower offer, but with a better deal, right? For overall stories and stuff. Anyway, Amazon and Johnson's reps have declined to comment on the matter. Waller-Bridge is attached to write the script for the TV series, but is not involved in the film or in the games. Johnson's DJ2 Entertainment recently signed a first-look deal with Amazon back in February of last year and will focus on adapting video game titles for the streaming service. They're also currently looking at adapting Life is Strange and Disco Elysium as film and TV projects. Now, we talk about this quite a bit in regards to, let's say, video game adaptations, right? Amazon right now is currently doing Fallout. We've heard rumors of like Mass Effect. Obviously, Netflix has Gears of War, The Division, Splinter Cell's an animated series that's coming sometime, hopefully this year. They are apparently doing still the Gears of War movie. I might have mentioned that. There's, I think, another Assassin's Creed thing is happening. Like, there's a lot going on with video game adaptations. Now, the question becomes, are any of them going to be any good? Obviously, The Last of Us has done very well. Something like Halo has divided the fan base. I know some fans who like it, some fans who don't. Then again, under the leadership of 343, Halo has been special, I think is a nice way to say it. But what I think is going to be happening here is this. Crystal Dynamics no longer is owned by Square Enix, who did distribute these other three games. They were sold off along with the Tomb Raider franchise to Embracer Group. And I do believe they are working on a new game. So it makes sense to have a new game and to have a TV show or movie or whatever. What sucks, though, is I feel like Alicia Vikander did a really great job in the 2018 movie, and I would have loved to have seen Nia DaCosta take it on for the second movie. I understand that when Amazon bought out MGM, that deal kind of fell with it, but MGM owns the rights to Tomb Raider, and so we're going to be seeing a lot more coming out of that. If they are also working on like Disco Elysium and Life is Strange, you can tell that there is a really big, like, they want genre-based entertainment. And I think that's where a lot of stuff is going, but it has to be well-made genre-based entertainment. And right now, Amazon doesn't really have a lot of bad stuff in that department. To be fair, their shit's pretty high quality. It's pretty high class. Netflix is like middling after all this time, and people are starting to notice, and that's going to be a big thing. We're going to be talking about a bit more about Netflix here in a minute. But I think, like, look, you've got Reacher, you've got The Terminal List, you've got like the Rainbow Six movie that Chad Stahelski is directing with Michael B. Jordan. You've got a lot of stuff for your older white boomer man over there on Amazon. They're even doing the Dark Tower series. They got, Mike Flanagan to come on over and do that. They've got so much happening on Amazon that's going to appeal to so many people that just seems like the right direction for me. Now, let me just quickly say this, and this is just like a wish list. If I had a wish list, if I had a wish, I would absolutely, definitely, 100% hope that they would adapt the Clive Cussler novels. All right, it's 2005 Sahara starring Matthew McConaughey, Steve Zahn. Was it Penelope Cruz in that one? I forget the woman in that movie. I think it was Penelope Cruz, right? You've got Delroy Lindo. You've got Rainn Wilson. I love that movie. They need to do more with Clive Cussler. And I think a lot of older white boomer men, who is their demographic in a number of ways, would absolutely just like salivate at the lips for some of the good action adventure stuff you would get out of Clive Cussler novels. And that could be something that could be an interconnected universe, very much like the MCU. If you've ever read any of the Clive Cussler stuff, you know what I'm talking about. You guys absolutely know what I'm talking about here. There's going to be that. Now, real quick here, Music Man, I wanted to touch on this point. When you say, I didn't know they were doing Rainbow, I love that game series. This is based on the book, not based on the game. So it's not going to be Siege. It's not going to be that. It's going to be something else. But yeah, it's going to be very, very much. Let's see. Reed here did quickly bring up that Zeus and Poseidon have been cast in the Percy Jackson series. That's right, they have. I know Lance Reddick and I forget the other guy, but yeah, that's gonna be pretty good too. Oh, right. McLeod brings up William H. Macy was the admiral in Sahara. That's very right. If you have, I don't know where it's streaming. If you can watch Sahara, I'm gonna do a podio on that one. I'm gonna do a podio commentary on Sahara probably pretty soon because I freaking love that. That dude Vince brings up the Dirk Pitt novels. There's a huge number of books. Not only that, but there's like all the side characters for the Clive Cussler stuff. I remember one, I think it was called like, I forget the name of the book, but it's like it's basically zombies. They find zombies that have been able to like have everlasting, like they're basically people who found this like algae in the water that allowed them to like almost live forever, but they become like monsters. Like almost like zombie-esque. It's really interesting stuff there. So let's see here. You know, we're talking about this stuff. Anyway, hold on here. I love this. We got this. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Where you're a grown man wearing a choker. All right. Hold on. This guy's I'm just gonna read this in like the nice voice. This guy's a damn fool. LOL. He's a fart in the wind. And Critical Drinker, him and his 32,000 followers ain't shit. I subbed because of one lucky vid, but now I've unsubbed. Is this me? Oh no, you unsubbed. Oh my God. Please take that weird eyebrow decoration you have and get the fuck out of here. Who gives a shit? Holy fuck, dude. Like you don't even understand. Like you are the kind of person that look at this. I'm just looking at your image here based on what you're saying. You're the kind of guy that the Critical Drinker speaks to. The kind of like low T, low IQ, single sperm count fucking wielding idiot who's just like, yeah, they're fucking getting rid of men. They're getting rid of fucking men. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Oh my God. Yeah, Zachary here is like, don't let that door hit you on the way out. Holy fuck, dog. My God, sir. Read a book. You know, just read a fucking book. I don't for a person coming in here and simping for a guy named the Critical Drinker. We're going to look at the video and there's not even going to be anything that's critical about it. It's just incessant, like whining. It's just a 20-minute video of a guy whining. Why aren't there any more men in movies? Oh, did you not watch any movie in 2022? No, they're all woke. Oh my goodness. Anyway, no, we're not. I mean, I'm going to make fun of Critical Drinker like a motherfucker and gladly invite him to debate because he's a fucking moron. Jesus Christ. I've actually like, you know what? I don't want to spoil the good time. I don't want to spoil the fun. All right. But here's the thing, guys, here's the thing. If we get any of Critical Drinkers, like just, you know, knuckle dragging fans that come on in here, right? The kind of people that literally just recently evolved from single cell amoeba, let them be. Just let them spit their nonsense because it's funny. But that's really about what it boils down to. It's just like, if these are the kind of people that, you know, never actually go out there and date. They don't know what it means to actually engage with real life if they think that someone like Critical Drinker is providing them with the kind of thoughtful criticism, critique, and commentary that they want to get from someone talking about movies. Jesus fucking Christ. These are the kind of people that would probably end up like, I don't know, like trying to like siphon gas out of a car and accidentally choke on the petrol. I don't fucking know. They're all idiots. What can we say? But let's move on here. I'm going to have to cut that whole segment for the fucking before noon shit. All right. Let's talk about Netflix because they pulled a Warner Brothers Discovery, right? They pulled a Warner Brothers Discovery here, guys. So what we found out is Netflix has offloaded 2 completed films, but the filmmakers are going to be able to shop the projects elsewhere, which is good. Yeah, David Zaslav, I'm looking at you, motherfucker. Gunnar Wiedenfels, huh? We want to see Batgirl and Scoop. Actually, I really want to see Scoop. Anyway, As Hollywood continues to grapple with the possibility of a recession, entertainment companies are turning to unloading completed projects in order to recoup their financial losses. Netflix is the latest company to join in on this trend, as a Hollywood Reporter has learned two feature films, Inheritance and The House/Wife, will no longer be distributed by the streaming giant. The filmmakers behind these movies are now shopping them elsewhere for distribution. This move is not unique to Netflix, as other companies such as AMC Plus, Paramount Plus, Disney, and HBO Max have also been unloading completed projects in recent months. For example, in the summer, HBO Max did announce that Batgirl was kaput, and Scoob also was not going to be released, even though for the holiday haunt, the sequel movie, I was very much looking forward to. They canceled the movie, and then Zaslav still had the team complete the film. You know why that is? You know why? Because eventually, when they start making money again, they're just going to pay back the taxes on whatever they got the write-off for. So like, we're talking maybe like, in the case of Batgirl, like 20 million. I don't know what Scoob would do, but all Warner Brothers has to do is just cut a $20 million check back to the government, and they can release the fucking movie. That's all they got to do. So they're writing everything down, but when they if they're profitable ever again, if let's say James Gunn is able to make it work, then who knows? Maybe they'll find a way to bring it back. But that's really about it. And it's still really weird. But anyway, so it goes on to say here that it's reported that these movies were casualties of a new corporate strategy from parent company. Oh yeah, there we go. We're talking about the Warner Brothers things. Anyway, so it's not clear why Netflix decided to unload The Inheritance and House/Wife, but it's worth noting that these movies are being shopped elsewhere. Unlike the HBO Max titles, this trend of unloading completed projects is not limited to film, as multiple television shows have also been canceled while in various stages of production, or have had their renewals rescinded before the new season begins. AMC Networks, for example, has been seeking up to $400 million in write-downs, rescinding orders for series like Damascus, 61st Street, and Invitation to a Bonfire, all of which had either completed or were partially through production. The decision to offload these titles comes as Netflix is trying to maintain a similar level of content spend while focusing on profits from its 230 million plus subscribers globally. Last week, the streamer reported a massive Q4, adding 7.66 million paid subscribers, including its new ad tier option, which, by the way, no one is really doing the ad tier option. I know it's added in there as like a positive, but like no one's doing the ad tier option, really. But anyway, and Netflix has also been a major buying power at the Sundance Film Festival, scooping up the buzziest premiere, Fair Play, for $20 million. I mean, look, Netflix is in very much the same situation that a lot of these guys are. All right. They've realizing that Hollywood is on the verges of recession. Regal's parent company, Cineworld, I think they filed for bankruptcy or whatever, and they're closing 39 Regal cinemas around the country. 39 cinemas are closing down. And actually, the one I went to the most in San Diego is actually getting the axe next month. Really, it bothers me to think about that the theater that I've gone to the most in my entire life, literally, is being shut down. I haven't been, the last movie I saw there was Crawl, which was the last time I was in San Diego. But I mean, like, dude, I'm even like I thought about like flying down to San Diego simply to go see one last movie in this theater that I really do care about, just as like a sentimental thing. I'm not going to do it because it's not prudent or fiscally responsible, but it's just like, it sucks to see this kind of crap happen. And so these streamers are in the same boat, because if a recession hits, right, if it really does hit, if it gets really bad, people are going to pick and they're going to choose. They're not going to, they're going to like cut out what they don't need. So there's going to be a big loss. Now, remember, guys, that Netflix a year ago had talked about how they didn't hit their quarterly goal for subscribers, and they actually lost like 2 million, and some people out there thought that I forget what it was. They had something to do with it. It was some bullshit controversy some people thought it was like the cuties thing, I think, right? Whatever. It had nothing, that didn't move the needle at all. But then in the last quarter, they were able to bring in 7.66 million new people. Right. And now, did that have anything to do with the success of Wednesday? I don't know. Maybe. Had a couple other big, Knives Out was another big one in there and whatnot. So it's like they were able to still come out ahead. but they're still now looking at the content. I think they're realizing, I really do think that they're realizing that they can't just buy. They have to start really, really pushing for genre content. Look at what's going on with Amazon. We talked about that with the whole Tomb Raider thing, right? Amazon is scooping up property after property in regards to like, establishing like universes, or, they had the Warhammer thing with Henry Cavill. They are looking at their core audience and what their audience is after, and they want to deliver that. That's what Netflix used to be, except they decided to expand way too fast and put out so much content, a lot of which was just purchased from like other countries or other studios or whatever. And the quality started to delineate because they needed to feed the content machine. So the quality of content just started to slip. I mean, look at 2021, for crying out loud. Both Army of the Dead, Red Notice, two of their biggest movies of the year, both were fine. I mean, I like Army of the Dead quite a bit, but the story was kind of, and I'm hoping that Rebel Moon, given the fact that they shot part 1 and part 2 back to back, will allow for a meatier, beefier story. But Netflix, and we're going to start seeing this a lot more with these companies, and we'll have to wait to see if these movies even end up going anywhere. Now, I think the company doing it right is Universal. Universal has been releasing their films theatrically. They've been heavily playing up genre content, lower budget genre content, specifically horror and animation. That's not low budget, but I mean, they've done well with that, like Puss in Boots and Rise of Gru. Jurassic World Dominion was $1 billion hit. They've been able to reach the market really well with some of these movies. And then guess what? Not all, but most of them have been hitting PVOD within 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And in the case of Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, not only is it on PVOD, it's still doing really well theatrically. Sing did the same thing a year ago, Sing 2. They have an interesting model, and it seems to be working. Whereas Netflix is doing almost the exact opposite. And this is what happens when you're the king of the hill. Eventually, that teetering is going to get real crazy. So that's going to be fascinating to see what's going on with this. We got Protoss asking, how do you know nobody's using the ad tier? Does anyone talk about it? Do you know anyone who's gone the ad tier? I don't. I haven't seen anyone talking about it on Netflix. I've seen no articles write up about it. I've seen no one talk about it. Like, it's just not there. It's just not there. Like, eventually we might go there because they're gonna continuously raise their price, but still, it's like right now no one's using it. I guarantee you. Let's see. McLeod says, have you seen those big breakouts like Money Heist, Squid Game, and RRR? I have not seen Money Heist. I've seen clips of RRR and it looks amazing. Squid Game is my jam. I love Squid Game. So yeah, they have a lot of international content that's also doing really well. And that's what they get that stuff for a steal. Squid Game, I think they spent $21 million on? Right? They spent like $21 million on that shit. So yeah. Ralph's Double Tits here says, bring back the Sinatra mouse for Sing 3. Yeah, I know. Where's Seth MacFarlane's Mike? Mike was one of the things missing from Sing 2. 100%, dude. But all right, let's move on here because Mia Goth has made a very interesting and not quite, not like, stunning and brave, uniquely symbolic statement, I guess, but it's one I back up and I support wholeheartedly. She says here that there's got to be changes at the Oscars after horror films get shut out. And obviously X and Pearl, having both come out in 2022, were movies that just, that should have been nominated. I think X should have been nominated. Mia Goth should have gotten Best Actress nomination for either X or Pearl. And I wasn't even that big of a fan of Pearl, but her acting was superb. And I think it's ridiculous that the Academy shuns horror the way that it does. But now they're looking into this whole Andrea Riseborough thing, right? For whatever fucking movie she was in, because she got the Best Actress nomination. And there's been I'm going to talk more about that probably like maybe this week when some more info comes out. But basically they're just like, hold on, somebody used social media as a way to push it. And they got their friends to kind of push it. And she ended up getting nominated and they're not happy about that. Right. But you know what? Hey man, listen, they got rid of the fan favorite shit for this year. And technically she Andrea Riseborough's friends kind of ran a subversive Oscar fan favorite. and it got her fucking nominated. So if she wins, which she won't, but if she wins, she would actually have a real Oscar. Whereas Zack Snyder, who won 2 last year, honorary symbolic Oscars, does not actually have one. Not yet, at least. Maybe one day he will. Anyway, let's find out more about this. So Mia Goth, one of the biggest horror stars of 2022, has recently spoken out about the lack of representation for horror movies at the Oscars. In an interview with Jake's Takes promoting the new horror film Infinity Pool, Goth stated that the nomination process is very political and not always based on the quality of the project, which is why, and I'm just saying this right now, hands down, full stop, Avatar: The Way of Water needs to win Best Picture. Why? Because as a whole product, as a whole thing, absolutely fucking deserves it. I'm sorry, it does. It absolutely does. You might disagree with me on that one, but you're wrong. It deserves it. One's in the chats if you guys agree with me. No other answer is going to be accepted. I only look at once. Anyway, I'm kidding. She also mentioned that there are many people involved in the decision-making process and that a change is necessary to better engage with a wider audience. Goth's comments were in reference to her lead performance in the film Pearl, which many believed should have been nominated for an Oscar. Yeah, dude, the fucking end credit sequence alone for Pearl. Like the end credit, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it, but like if you know what I'm talking about, that last shot of that movie is wild, and like her performance is crazy. Again, like the Pearl was the second installment of Ty West's X trilogy. It received critical and commercial acclaim. Her performance was considered Oscar worthy, and the film itself was considered one of the best directed, written, and acted theater experiences of 2022. I think X was better, if I'm being honest with you. Pearl wasn't bad, but I think X was overall better. I think it was better written. The directing in Pearl was better. I'll grant that one, but it's also, again, the type of directing Ty West was going for. How he was like in X, it was more of like a 70s grindhouse kind of style, and Pearl was more one that you would have seen back from the 19 teens, right? Back during that time. But anyway, now going on to give us more information about why horror kind of gets snubbed. Film studios often choose to not market their horror films for award runs if they believe they will not have a chance of winning. Because it's money, right? It doesn't matter what the quality is. It's money. It's what it boils down to. Studios like A24, known for their mind-bending horror films, put more effort behind promoting their other films rather than their horror films. I mean, look at The Whale. The Whale got a lot of love, a bunch of nominations. Hopefully Brendan Fraser gets it. But the way films are nominated at the Oscars is not favorable towards horror, and the Oscars do not make an effort to change this, like, at all. Horror-loving audiences are often left feeling discouraged when their favorite genre is not represented in the award ceremony. However, there is hope that someday performances like Mia Goth's in Pearl and Toni Collette's in Hereditary or Florence Pugh's in Midsommar will have equal opportunity to win an Oscar. In the meantime, viewers can catch, that's the end of the article on that one, but it's true. It's very true on that, right? You've got, you've got all of that craziness that goes on, right? Like horror movies. Here's the thing, guys. Let's actually have a conversation about what the fuck this is, because I think there's actually some stuff there worth actually diving into. So Oscars predominantly run on advertising. All right. That's how the Oscar game is done. The Oscar game comes into play because these companies go out there and they pay for the advertising. Right? You'll see the for your consideration all over the place. And a lot of the older people that are in the Oscars, because once you are nominated or once you win, I think you're in for life. If you win, you're in for life, definitely. But a lot of the people that are in the Oscars or in the Academy are older people who don't like horror movies. Really, that's my take on that one. And they don't, I don't think they can really market those things because, it's like, it's meant to be this prestigious award, and horror is considered to be dirty and grimy and not in the way that's going to win you a lot of awards here. But we do have Saggy and Caden joining in. What's going on, guys?
Oh, we came at the same time. Oh God.
Yeah.
Phrasing. Oh my God. I just realized what I said.
Phrasing. Yeah, that's good phrasing on that one there. But we're talking about the Oscars right now. And obviously, Caden, because you have experience in the industry, you know how the Oscars get with their voting.
Yeah.
Like, why? There was a big push and it was never going to happen. But like, look at Terrifier 2. I bring this up pretty frequently. The fans of Art the Clown were like really, we're like the filmmakers submitted Terrifier 2 to the Oscars, to the Academy Awards. They submitted it for consideration, and it obviously didn't get it. But imagine all of those
Right.
fuddy-duddy, old, white, really conservative players in Hollywood that are having to sit down and like check, oh, what's this Terrifier 2 movie?
The other thing also, I'm sure if you want to talk about it, it's just, like when you're talking about like for your considerations, it's like I think you were saying like it would be weird or hard to have a for your consideration event for a horror film with, older like white people or older people in general.
Yeah.
Especially people who think, horror is a nasty genre. But also I feel like there should be still a recognition for horror because like a lot goes into those movies, honestly. And
It does. There's a lot that these movies.
I mean, a lot of things go into every single movie, even bad or good, whatever. It's like okay, like there should be recognition for all films that have a way to be recognized.
Yeah,
And horror is one of those genres where it doesn't get recognized as much. Like as much as we talk about how animation also doesn't get recognized as much, I feel like horror is another genre that doesn't get recognized as much that should be recognized. So
The Oscars are a joke. I don't know why this is news.
we learned today that they're even more of a joke, especially when you have actors who are lobbying and having their friends have slideshows and stuff for them.
I think it's I mean, like Hollywood, if you think about it, like I said, Hollywood, when it comes to the Oscars, they like to showcase these movies that are, that show the human struggle, right? They really love those movies, but the human struggle that's in horror is oftentimes not the kind of struggle they want to show. It's sex, drugs, violence, death, mayhem, the macabre. And it's just like, how do you market that? Even though, like, let's be fair, horror movies in essence are like the fucking backbone of Hollywood. I mean, look at how much money something like Megan cost versus how much money it made. Look at Smile, $20 million movie, over $200 million take home worldwide. Never mind video sales and things like that. And it's like, look at Skinamarink, $15,000 movie, $1 million in the box office. That's good in regards to the scale for profitability. I mean,
then you look at Babylon, who did poorly domestically.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And what was the budget on that? Like over 200 million?
Yeah. And they
Something
signed a huge deal with Damien Chazelle after that.
Yeah.
Like after the supposed big opening weekend, even though it was not big at all, it was terrible. And then now they have to deal with this deal that they have with Damien Chazelle, who honestly is a great director. It's just that I don't think he speaks to a wider audience that they should want, that they need.
Yeah.
Like I think like Damien Chazelle directs movies that are like very historical and that gravitate towards one audience who likes those like very auteur historical movies that are very big ensembles. And that's also another reason why they are generally high budget, because they're big ensembles with high stars,
Yeah.
So it's like you really have to think about a Damien Chazelle movie, and if you really want to do one, you can't just do like a deal with him, because then it's like, okay, that means you want at least a movie come out every 2 years or something, And it's like, will you really want a Damien Chazelle movie to come out every 2 years? It's like
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like they work. Those movies are just expensive, and I think they're going to rethink a lot of that shit as time goes on. To be fair,
yeah.
But I think Mia Goth has a point about there needs to be a change. I think the world has changed in regards to how we view movies, how we process entertainment.
Yeah.
I think the Oscars and their complete death, their was it the ratings are terrible. Will Smith was trying to get, he couldn't be nominated. Maybe he could have for Emancipation, but like Emancipation was meant to be Apple's big movie. Like they won for Coda. So they were going to make that big push with Anton Fuqua's Emancipation, which I hear is a good
Right.
movie, but it's this like, it didn't get anything, like nothing, no love. They didn't push it because of the controversy from last year. So like, that's, it's like the industry has got to reflect the changes. And I think a lot of people, the younger audience simply just doesn't fucking care. Like Reed here for $5 says the Oscars also seem to not like musicals or animation of any kind. Musicals got a better shot.
Musicals. The thing is that as we see with La La Land, it got like high praise, even though like honestly, I probably am like one of the few people who did not like La La Land. It felt very basic, honestly, and it got high praise because of its basic plot. And
Isn't it? But it's like it's white people do jazz,
right.
basically.
It's like that's like the whitest movie ever, and it got high praise and everyone loves it for some reason. I'm like, that's the whitest movie ever. And like, I don't know how white you can get other than La La Land. And
I think it's, I haven't seen it. I haven't cared to. I know the controversy surrounding
honestly,
it,
you
but
don't have to.
yeah,
I'm
not even going to watch Babylon. I'm just like,
the thing is, it's like, it's a movie that happened and then people praised it because of Ryan Gosling and Emma. Like, I'm like, okay, yeah, like I like Ryan Gosling, I like Emma, but like again, that was like probably one of their middest performances ever.
But Hollywood loves to suck itself off. Let's be fair. Hollywood absolutely loves to just
then
fillet
we saw
itself,
it on the Oscar stage when the old lady said La La Land, and when it was Moonlight, and it was just like, wow.
That was one of that was the best moment of the Oscars in the last 20 years.
I was just like, when can like I rewatched that moment again, and I was like, wow. Like I'm glad that the La La Land team was like, no, it's actually Moonlight, and took it away from the two people that were presenting, and because I'm like, this is why you don't have old people present awards. Because they can't see or they can't hear.
But remember, after that too, like they also pushed the Oscar So White campaign.
Right.
And then that caused them to change up how they do things. And yet they still this year did not nominate a woman as best director. Now not to say that they had
a woman as best director, nor did they nominate a person or a woman of color for best actress.
Oh really?
No.
Even
and
with
that's
Till?
The whole, huh?
Even with Till having, I don't even remember the name of the woman who's in Till, but like
Danielle,
you look at Till and you're just like, that's
and Viola Davis did not get nominated, but then you have Ana de Armas and Andrea Riseborough being nominated.
Well, okay. The thing is, though, Andrea Riseborough, though, I think that is a subject. We'll cover that a little. We had to move on.
Yeah.
But like, that story to me is so fucking fascinating because I think it is amazing from what I've been reading. And it's as much as I criticize the Oscars,
it's not because of the movie. It's because
no, fuck no. It's because of how they did it.
Yeah,
it's how they did it. It's like every one of her friends came together, like literally showing private screenings around town, like inviting big name people over in the Academy, big stars over to watch this movie,
like emailing them each member 5 billion times a day, and then having a friend have a PowerPoint presentation on Instagram on how like, oh yeah, like all of those people are great and they'll get nominated, but so vote for Andrea because she might not. And that's the reason why Viola
it's great, but it's great. It subverts the entire process, right? Like, okay, well, here's the thing. You're too young for this, but it's like, go back to 1998, all right? Or 1999, and what won Best Picture that year? Shakespeare in Love. It was up against Saving Private fucking Ryan.
Wow.
All right. And why did Shakespeare in Love win? I love Shakespeare in Love, by the way. It's a great movie.
Was that?
That was Harvey Weinstein flooding the fuck out of all the
br-
advertisement.
the article that I'm about to bring up when we talk about Andrea, they
That's
bring
gonna
up
have to be
that.
like tomorrow, yeah. But
Yeah. When
yeah,
we talk about
we'll get into that. We'll get again.
Yeah.
So stay tuned if you want to know more about this for Hollywood before noon. We'll talk about more then. Anyway, I do quickly want to get to this here. Jurassic Room here says just turned 24 this past year. I got my first niece and nephew. Congratulations to you on that one. Thank you, Command Unit. I see your super chat there, and we'll get into that. And for 40K stuff later on. And then Mo Moon here says he's a new member. He actually upgraded his membership to IMAX. Oh yeah, IMAX baby. Thank you, Mo. Really, really, really appreciate it. And then Jess here also for 5. Thank you. Says, I believe Oscar nominated movies need to have a certain quota of tickets sold to even be nominated. There are many movies in the Oscars I've never heard of. I mean, like a lot.
I don't think if that's the case, then a lot of movies wouldn't have been nominated.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a lot of great movies that were nominated and didn't do well in the box office. I think the reason I think to say like I think someone brought up like John Rocha and Jeff Snyder, they have a hot mic show on Thursdays. And John Rocha was talking about it. Like if you haven't seen 75% or more of the movies, don't vote for the Oscars. Like don't. Because then you are missing, like let's say I watch every single movie but The Woman King and Till and like Black Panther. Then I miss out on 3 great movies and great performances that I can be voting on, but I didn't watch those movies. And I watched Blonde and To Leslie and Fablemans and thought, like those movies should be the top 3 nominated movies when you missed out on 3 other movies, So it's like there should be like a progress bar saying, oh, if you watched every single movie that you need to watch to vote, you should, like if you watch 85%, go ahead and vote. But you didn't, so
well, that's hard. That's hard to push for, to be fair. But
it is. But
because you
again,
can't.
it's like I think
Yeah.
also to do that, you also have to also widen the award season, like have it go for a little bit longer.
Well, I mean,
so
because
then
yeah,
they
everything
can
that
have time to watch and vote, and then vote again for the winner. So it's like there's like that type of thing also.
yeah,
So
they
it's like
kind
there's
of
a lot of things that need to be done in the Academy and in every other award show.
Yeah, I'm not even a fan of the award shows, but I agree with getting more film. Like, I mean, if you look at the top 10 that came out that they nominated, like Avatar,
Yeah.
Avatar 2, obviously not going to win, even though I think it should, and everything. But it's like it's done. That is partially done because everyone's talking about it to
Right.
get people in to watch it. So there's that, but it's like alienating the horror fans is stupid because they're diehard, they're dedicated, and they fund
Yeah.
shit. So it's
Right.
like it's just I don't know, like it's dumb. Anyway, let's move on from there.
Yeah.
Because I want to keep moving because we still have a lot to get to. This is the last story of the day, though. The Last of Us renewed season 2 at HBO Max, and that's big news. Even though I'm not necessarily happy that they're going to go right into part 2, but this is what the article says. HBO's post-apocalyptic drama The Last of Us has been a huge success, with viewers turning in to watch as the story of Joel and Ellie unfold on their screens. The show, which stars Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, has been met with both critical acclaim and has been renewed for a second season. This comes as no surprise, as the series has been hit with an audience has been a hit with audiences since its premiere, scoring a 97% positive on Rotten Tomatoes and earning the title of HBO's second highest viewed series debut in a decade, with viewership reaching 22 million viewers across all platforms, which I love that, by the way, Caden, because that's both HBO and HBO Max.
Oh yeah.
And they love
the
to merge it.
Yeah. And like someone mentioned, like even though like HBO and like every single streaming service has been kind of withholding an actual view count rather than minutes or ratings or whatever, is that like this one actually, like we've seen that like it actually has a bigger views in both HBO Max and HBO combined than the House of Dragon and The Fall.
Yeah, it's been insane, and it's like it's such a good game, and it is very structured like a television show, so it works out well.
Like even like it didn't get into the article. It didn't say it in the article, but Neil Druckmann said it publicly that they want to do part 2 into 2 seasons because there's so much story in part 2.
But there's also a lot of dead air in part 2 as well. Like part 2
yeah. So
like I never finished it. Like to be fair,
I think
like
what RJ said this on Max's streams is that like honestly you can honestly switch some events around in part 2 and have season 2 mainly be kind of like flashback stuff as well.
yeah.
And then like have it be like half Book of Boba Fett and half Mando season 2 kind of thing. You know, like because Book of Boba Fett
You
was,
have to introduce the Abby character, which we're gonna get. I believe we're gonna get at the end of the season. Setting up the setting up the
or
next
at
season
least
and
a
whatnot.
name like we get like a like the over the head shot type of thing where it's like we don't see the actress but like like that type of thing.
We get the Easter egg, the teaser, or whatever.
And then be like, and then they'll announce the casting for Abby of season 2 or whatever.
And that's gonna be, and I feel bad for whoever that is, to be honest with you, because she's gonna get like.
She's gonna get so much hate and it's gonna be unwarranted.
Totally unwarranted. But going on here, the article does say the show's creators and cast have expressed their excitement and gratitude for the opportunity to continue telling the story. Executive producer Neil Druckmann said, "I'm humbled, honored, and frankly overwhelmed that so many people have tuned in and connected with our retelling of Joel and Ellie's journey." He went on to thank the team at Naughty Dog and PlayStation for their partnership and the audience for giving them the chance to continue. Executive producer Craig Mazin also expressed his gratitude to the millions of viewers who have joined them on this journey, saying, "I couldn't be more ready to dive back in." I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I know it's a couple days till the next one and shit.
Did you see Bella Ramsey's? Yeah.
This
is Bella's reaction. So yeah.
I mean, like she had
we'll
to
have
have known.
a video tomorrow, so we'll get a better like reaction other than photos, but even just on this facial expressions.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really happy for her.
I am too. I think like a lot of people were attacking her. They were attacking her like when she was cast, and the thing is because like
weren't people like attacking her recently because she came out as gender fluid?
Did she come out as gender fluid?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Whatever. Either way, I mean, like, Jesus, it's just like, who cares? Who gives a shit? Like, I don't fucking care. Like, I don't care at all. It's, I love the show. I think that she does a great job embodying the spirit of Ellie.
Right.
And she, I think Pedro Pascal does a great job. I loved, the change. Like, I know Sarah wasn't the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Aryan fucking princess that people wanted her to be. But the actress who played her did an amazing job.
I like the change of Tessa's.
Oh, of her, yeah. I like the change. I mean, I love the cold open in the show
because and I honestly think that we'll get. You know what? I think so. Season 1 cold opens will be leading up to the of the infection, and then I think season 2's will be the flashbacks. Like cold opens will be other flashbacks with like the ones with
it's like Breaking Bad.
Joe.
It's going to be like Breaking Bad, but those segments are going to be like half the show or some shit like that probably.
Right. Yeah.
But I think that, Shifty Gism here says they said there might not be part 3. Oh no, they're absolutely working on part 3.
I think part 3 will probably come out after season 2 so they can start writing on season 4.
Remember, there's the multiplayer. There's because they had said that they didn't do a multiplayer for The Last of Us Part 2, which is so stupid in my mind. But they gave an update recently where they said like they're still working on it and some announcements are gonna come pretty soon. And I'm like, look, clearly we know it's gonna be like a battle royale, right? It's because they're gonna tie into that shit. But I'm really hoping that it gets there. Anyway, obviously love The Last of Us. Looking forward to season 2. It's gonna be, man, when that scene happens. Oh, you think The Walking Dead is gonna turn off some viewers?
Well, like the thing is, it's like someone said this to me. It's like I'm a huge fan of Walking Dead and everything, but I think the Last of Us show and the Last of Us games do zombies better than
sure. What I'm referring to predominantly is
I know what you're saying.
When the scene happened with Negan in The Walking Dead, that literally turned off viewers.
I know.
That was like the end of the show for a lot of people. It was too much. And
Right.
they've acknowledged that. They've acknowledged how violent it went and how dark it went and how it actually negatively impacted a fair amount of the audience. Cause like, it's like this, the thing you have to remember here, guys, is that when we talk about some of these characters, when we talk about their impact on the audience, especially the longer they've been around, there is this mass, and this is what video games have on people, because you spend so many hours literally playing as somebody else. So you grow that attachment. When a character dies, like your cortisol levels raise, like you feel pain. So when you watch like the Negan bit in The Walking Dead, and here's Glenn, a character who's literally been around since episode 2 of the first season, and you watch him just get bludgeoned, and it's violent. Like his eye pops out, right? Like it's super violent and everything else. That just shut people off. It was too much.
I mean, the comics literally did that.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. What the comics can do it, but the comics are like, it's not the same thing. You know what I mean? It's not going to be the same kind of visceral experience. And a lot of people aren't comic readers who are going to be used, it's like,
I mean, true. But
that's
the thing with The Walking Dead, though, real quick, was something that a lot of people don't know, because if you haven't read the comics either, is that, like, The Walking Dead, I think they were testing the waters to see if they were going to go with killing off Glenn, because there was the episode a few episodes prior where it was implied that Glenn got killed, and they wanted to gauge the reaction of the fans and the general audience of how they felt the people would feel when Glenn dies, because they knew it was coming. They knew the story arc was coming where Glenn dies. So they kind of teased the audience by having an episode where it was implied that Glenn was screwed.
You're talking about the trash or the dumpster.
Yes, when he fell in the dumpster. That was a very interesting.
That was the last episode I saw, actually.
Yeah, that was a test. That was a test, because if you watch The Walking Dead, they actually changed a lot of the character arc. So, but no, you are right. Like when you see a character and you get attached to these characters and they just like die, especially in like the worst possible way, it's meant to play on your heartstrings. You're supposed to literally just shatter your soul.
It's like, what is it? There was a guy who died in season 2, whose death was replaced by another character like in season 3 or 4 or whatever.
Herschel, the old guy?
It wasn't No. Herschel died the way Herschel was supposed to die.
No, it wasn't. The Herschel died the way Tyrese was supposed to die.
Oh, really? Well, then Tyrese died later on. But
yeah, Tyrese died later on. But yeah, no, they did swap some deaths.
But there was like the old guy in season 2 who was torn apart by the walkers towards the end of the season. I forget his name, but like he was supposed.
It Dale?
But yeah, it was Dale, and then he was supposed to be infected, and then cannibals cut off his leg, and started eating, and that was reserved for the other guy in like another season. So they've done a bunch of crazy shit with that. Anyway, we've got well, sorry, real quick here. Galaxy Comics Nerd says Shane died in the comics before they even left the quarry, but they liked John Bernthal so much that they kept him around until the end of season 2.
Yeah, Shane was supposed to die a lot sooner in the comics.
Yeah. So I mean, but it can work sometimes in these adaptations.
Well, Carol was supposed to die in the prison too, and she survived the whole freaking show.
I think because they needed to have the Daryl Carol love thing going on.
No,
maybe. Yeah. Shogun Air for 5, thank you. Says the problem with Negan things is that there's no retribution you could enact upon him that would make it better, other than do something just as evil to him. I mean, that is true. But I think people like, that's the problem when someone goes so violent in something. It's like you've just kind of like hit that point.
Well, it's the reason why Negan was a very popular character of the comics, just because the whole aspect of the show was that the zombies weren't really the biggest problem and threat. Like, yeah, they would pretty much put humanity into the brink of extinction. But at the same time, Negan's character was basically like, when you get his backstory and then you find and you see how he's grown since he did all those evil things, like there is a form of not really retribution or redemption, but there's a better understanding of like, this is the world we are in now. And you either be this ruthless villain or you die. Because that is what the world has now become. It's not about the zombies, it's about survival. And that's how Negan chose to survive and keep his people safe, by instilling fear and violence and killing people if necessary to keep his people alive.
But the governor did the same thing. But then you have But the governor,
also
the governor is
crazy.
also he's also a sadist. You know what I mean? So there's a lot. I mean, like it's just these characters, like, you know, Robert Kirkman like wrote these characters that kind of go like, you know, 0 to 10. It's been a while since I got to go back and finish watching. I'll tell you what, I can never get into Fear the Walking Dead.
I couldn't either.
I'll give you I'll give you the best example of this, Comic-Con, right? If you ever want to go and look to see how these shows are, go and find any of the video footage from the Walking Dead cast in Hall H and how they respond to one another. How like you've got Rick Grimes and Daryl like literally just like playing pranks on each other while they're on stage. They show behind the scenes video footage of them playing pranks on each other while on set. There's a huge camaraderie. Then pair that with the Fear the Walking Dead cast, and like they have no camaraderie. They have none. Like it's such a I saw it multiple times because they'd have one then the other, and it was just like, sure, I mean, the Fear the Walking Dead was never going to live up to The Walking Dead, but they never even really tried. I think
the characters weren't connectable. Like I didn't connect with any of the characters in Fear the Walking Dead. Like I tried to watch a few episodes, and there was no connection because the way they started the first, like the way The Walking Dead starts, it's like a whole like what the F is going on. You have a guy who was in coma, you don't know why he was in coma, wakes up in the hospital, and there's freaking zombies. And then he finds his wife, who has clearly moved on with his best friend, and there's just instant drama. Like the way that Walking Dead started was like you immediately start to feel for the characters involved. With Fear the Walking Dead, it was like there was no good core establishment for these characters, which is why it just really just didn't work as well as Walking Dead did.
Yeah, I mean, but people stuck with it because it held on for multiple seasons. So there's that. But all right, guys, that's going to wrap up all the news segments of the day. If you're catching this on the Hollywood Before Noon segment, thank you. Be sure to check out the live stream for the rest of the conversation because, man, I got to talk. Jesus. I can't stand fucking morons, Saggy. You know that. I cannot stand morons. We're going to take a look at a video here. I'll wait for Caden to get back before we really dive in.
I just got back as soon as you said that.
Yeah, it's just like it's just, you know, Jesus fucking Christ. I can't, like, it's so bad. Oh my God. All right, let me just bring this up here. So what we've got is a video from the Critical Drinker. You know, and he's got over 1 million subs, right? This video itself has like over 1 million views. People have been watching it. People have been tearing into it. It's titled here, Why Modern Movies Suck. They Hate Men, Part 1. Now, for a guy who barely even acts like a man, to talk about being a man is kind of interesting. You know, have either of you guys seen any of this?
Nope. I don't know who this person is.
Oh, Lordy. Okay. You know what? All right. We're just going to start it and then, all right, well, let's just go.
Don't you just hate them all? Well, if you happen to be a creative working in Hollywood today, then the answer is probably yes. Either because you genuinely believe it, or because you think it's what you're expected to say these days just to get hired. But whatever the reason, there's been a bit of a change in the past few years in how men are portrayed on screen. And here's a hint, it hasn't been a good one. Hard as it may be to...
So I know that's like that's his opening statement right there, right? That's like his hook. 22 seconds into the video. If you've watched anything in the last couple of years, you know men are portrayed like shit. Did you guys see what's the top movies that came out in 2022? Right? The top domestic movie in 2022?
Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun, that's right. Top Gun Maverick. 59-year-old fucking Tom Cruise, you know, doing manly stoic shit.
Oh man, this is gonna be an interesting video.
It's going to be an interesting video because, like,
They hate men. Really.
They hate men, but the highest grossing movie is about like men being men, and even had an oiled up freaking volleyball scene. Yeah, had a beach scene. Nearly a $2 billion movie had a fucking beach scene, or at least $1.5 billion. You know, sweaty, oiled up dudes playing volleyball and shit, and yet that's really what got these guys going. Let's be fair. This video has a lot of.
It got me, and it got a lot of people on TikTok too.
Wait,
I don't even know, dude.
Define got me on that. I'm kind of curious. Oh, you mean like got your attention?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Boing, oing, 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 oing. All right, Caden, you're saying the quiet part out loud, buddy. But no, I'm kidding. All right, let's keep. Oh,
Somebody
God.
has to say it, right?
Yeah, made my dick hard. I mean, like, hey, that's good, man. Listen, a healthy libido is a good thing for a young lad. Of age. Of age.
Yes.
Of age. Let's keep going.
Believe now, there was a time when we were practically spoiled for choice when it came to cool, awesome, aspirational male heroes on the big and the small screen. Whether they were scrappy underdogs who had to rise to the challenge, or brave adventurers
Wait,
risking
what?
life and limb.
Didn't
What
like
the
a movie about that like come out like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And didn't a movie like that basically is about a guy coming out of his father's shadows to defeat his father's evils come out also 2 years ago by Marvel as well?
Yeah.
The name of Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Like-
yeah. But remember, it's an Asian man.
Oh,
So to Critical
it's
Drinker,
not a white man.
it's not a white dude.
Right.
Yeah. You're talking about white man. Let's be fair. This whole thing is about white people. Right? It's all like, why
We are
modern
white
movies
people.
suck. They hate white men. They hate white men. Like, you can literally listen to this and you can start to go, yeah, somebody's a little bit upset, you know. Someone's been listening to the Commandant.
Wow.
Let's keep going.
For fortune and glory, or hard-bitten cops taking on the criminal underbelly of society. They were a whole generation
What?
of men who kicked ass, triumphed against the odds and saved the day, and usually looked pretty cool doing it. That time, however, has passed, and the once mighty list of male
Wait, okay. Like,
I
for
like how
one,
he has Tom Cruise in this and yet
in Valkyrie, by the way, a
Right.
movie about an assassination plot against Adolf Hitler, where Tom Cruise, a colonel in the fucking SS Army or in the Third Reich, does not speak with a German accent.
right?
Right? You're just like,
Like-
it's why they hate men, part one. Oh, but they're not even gonna bother going out there and getting the fucking language, are they? You know, I mean, like, I'm putting more into my stupid ass impersonation of that drunkard fucking moron than Tom Cruise, one of the better actors of our generation, put into
Right.
trying to portray a German officer going after the Führer. You know, like, not I just, oh my God. I know, the Valkyrie bit cracks me up. It's like, dude, no one's watched Valkyrie since like 2009.
No.
The fuck are you doing?
Like
You know,
I'm like, I think I watched it when I was like 11, and I was like, one 11-year-old watching this movie is a bad idea. But I'm like, and I was like, because it was on TV, and I was going through TV as a little kid on like a Saturday afternoon, and I was like just watching it, and then I'm like, yeah, this is not a movie for little kids or anyone anymore.
yeah.
Honestly, no.
It's I saw this like right after I started dating my girlfriend. Like, that's how long ago. 14 years, and then I haven't seen it since then. But still, you know, fucking Valkyrie. It's not a bad movie, by the way, but it's just like, still, Tom Cruise not having is a German accent. Very problematic, you know. Very, very problematic, yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
ja, und. Ja.
yeah.
Ich habe eine Wolfshank Bratwurst, ja. He didn't even have how would he not have a fucking accent? I very loosely, very terribly just said, I have a fat bratwurst, yes.
Yes.
It's like a gringo translation of German or whatever. It's terrible shit. Anyway, let's keep going.
Oh,
male
shit.
cinematic heroes has dwindled to just a handful of aging characters living on borrowed time before they're ultimately recast, rebooted, or remade for modern audiences.
What?
Yeah, so like, he's talking about these older characters coming back, and it's like, it's just the thing. It's for one, nostalgia is what brings these characters back. All right, bringing them on to like do one more movie while they're older. Notice how Logan wasn't brought up in that, right? In that montage there, and not that I want to focus specifically on the montage, because I feel like he kind of gets a little lazy with some of the clips as time goes on.
Yeah, but like it gets still, but the montage tells you exactly what he's trying to convey, and like
I'm so confused at what the fuck we're watching.
What we're watching is a man with over 1 million subscribers complain about why Hollywood hates men while completely ignoring the fact that like the top 4 highest grossing films of 2022 were all men. Phantom Menace brings up the fact also if it's 5 if you count The Rise of Gru, which as
also
far as
Rise of Gru
as far
is
as I understand it, Gru being the key character in that movie is a man, and all of the
and is
minions.
white.
He's a white man. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. You know, and even like Wild Knuckles, older white dude, defeating a black woman. The villain of that movie is a black woman.
Racist.
See,
It's a black woman and a nun. And Jean-Claude Van Damme.
See, it should be exactly what they want. And yet they say there's no movies for them.
Can I just say, like, why is it when it comes with the whole gender stuff in Hollywood, like, how many times have women have been like sex icons in entertainment for decades? I mean, let's be real. As beautiful as Scarlett Johansson is, let's be realistic. She is not strong enough to beat the fuck out of multiple men that are double her size. Like, I'm sorry. And it's just the weirdest thing. Like, Hollywood hates men because they're not portraying them in the way that you do. We not understand that, like, the way men and women have been perceived has evolved throughout the generations. Like, being the tough, broly, like, jock guy was in for a while, and then being like the guy with the leather jacket and being like Fonzie, hey, that was in for a while, and then men got a little bit sensitive, and that was in for a while, and then we're back to like crime fighting superhero shit, that was in for. It always fucking changes. So like, it's not that Hollywood hates men, it's just the way men are perceived in society is fucking evolving. Deal with it. Cope.
Right.
Well, that's the thing though. This is their cope. This is their cope. Like, this is the guy that was in here earlier is like, oh, fucking, you're just an idiot. It's like, look, man, here's the deal. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, it doesn't matter if I have no subs or 1 billion subs. The argument is still shit. And that's the factor here. It's like, for one, like most movies, I would argue in many ways, most movies are kind of written poorly anyway. But they're written poorly predominantly because they have just like a shell going into like the production, because these movies, a lot of them, you know, okay, you know what I'm talking about. Like, they'll go write a script and like, okay, but the script's not even done yet. Well, we're going into production. You have the general outline, and then they just rework the dialogue while they're, you know, on set. A lot of, you know, and you hear this all the time. Like, the actors will be like, oh, we're up all night reworking the scenes. Yeah, they know what they're going to do. The core elements are going to stay the same, but the dialogue changes.
Like, why?
I'm looking at the top like 10 movies of last year. It's basically, except for Black Panther, all starring white dudes.
But still, my
Avatar,
point
Top
is,
Gun,
like,
Jurassic World, Doctor Strange, Minions, Rise of Gru, Fantastic Beasts, Sonic the Hedgehog, Uncharted.
Wait, Fantastic Beasts made money?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, the Harry Potter franchise is still very popular.
I haven't seen that one yet.
The first one was okay. I haven't seen the rest of it, but
I think the second one was better. I'll fully admit. I think the second one was better. Johnny Depp had a great performance in that movie. Nothing against Mads Mikkelsen, because I love Mads Mikkelsen. So like, no shade at him for taking a job, but I'm just kind of like, I don't care. All right, here we got Jess for 5. Thank you. Says, just put Oscar Isaac in everything. He can be multiple. He can be multiple races and people still love him. He is Hispanic. He plays Jewish. He plays Middle Eastern, etc. I mean, that's technically accurate. Oscar Isaac, the diverse actor.
I mean, he's got the looks that can pretty much
do basically, yeah, right? Like, there we go. Thank you for that, though, Jess. Oh my God, yeah.
White guy. The only thing he can't be is black.
Not yet.
No, not yet. That's gonna be next.
What? I'm just saying. Tropic Thunder Part 2. Oscar Isaac is back.
Well, honestly, I'm still waiting on more news on Les Grossman's movie with Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise.
I
don't know what they would do with that, but I would be down. I'd be down 100%.
I'm like, are they gonna have Matthew McConaughey back? Are they gonna who are they gonna have back in that movie? Like, because you're gonna have a lot of people back in that movie.
Yeah. Well, I just, give me more Bill Hader with Tom Cruise. I'll be pretty happy with that.
Yes.
So, all right, let's keep going.
The traditional heroic male lead that was pretty much the bedrock foundation of cinema for almost 100 years is apparently no longer a viable commodity in entertainment today. They're too dated, too toxic, too dangerous to put into the limelight, and so they've been
Ginger?
replaced with more
Did they say too ginger?
Too dainty, too
Oh.
maybe too ginger. You know, I mean,
God.
like for one, why the
They-
fuck is like Lakeith Stanfield there? Like,
The way that
Stanfield.
this is him standing too, like the picture that he chose for all these people are very weird pictures.
well, Robert Pattinson looks pretty fucking normal.
Yeah, and then
you know?
Timothy Chalamet and Lakeith looks like they have hunchbacks. Like,
Yeah, it's like I mean, I
Like-
I don't know. Like it's just again, it's just modern the way that these actors are
this is
dressing.
modern men, guys. You have 2 hunchback men and then 1 good-looking guy. I'm sorry, guys. This is the way it is.
Man, I feel like with Lakeith right there in the center, he must have really been freaked out by Get Out. Like,
Yeah.
I really think that it's just like it's meant. Why is the black guy in the center? Right, that's the racist bit right there. It's just like look at him, he's the problem. But what about the other two? No, look at the middle.
He's a black man.
Don't you?
Oh,
yeah, right. Like, okay.
They listen. They wanted to make a reverse Oreo. I mean, I get it.
You know what? That sounds tasty.
Listen, if you have too many black people in the thumbnail, it'd be. Sorry. If you have too many black people in that picture, it would have been painfully obvious. You got too many good black people in the photo.
Oh my god. For the record, Saggy and Caden both black. So, you know.
For the record.
For the record, I have to just make that abundantly clear.
If you didn't know.
If you didn't
If you
know.
didn't know, now you know.
Yeah, if you didn't know. Like, Caden just looks like Lionel Richie. I'm just going to keep saying that because it's true.
He
Today,
really does.
Did someone say you look like Lionel Richie today?
no. I got a haircut.
That doesn't mean you don't look like Lionel Richie.
Did you shave off the stash?
No.
Yeah, you look like
Wait.
Lionel Richie, motherfucker.
Wait.
Don't you?
Matt, he's like, I just got a haircut. It's like, okay, so you look like Lionel Richie after you got a haircut. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Good job, Caden. You got a haircut. Now you just look like Lionel Richie went out and got himself a new do.
There you go. Yeah. Good for Lionel. Good for Lionel. All right, let's
Lionel.
keep going.
acceptable alternatives. Don't believe me? Fuck it, go turn on your TV and watch basically any commercial break that comes up in the next hour or so. Tell me, how many dumb, hapless, incompetent husbands, fathers, and boyfriends do you see constantly screwing up even the most simple household tasks?
Wait, pause. Sir, let me challenge you. How about you go back on YouTube and look up 90s commercials and then come back and say this again? Go on, sorry.
No, it's a lot of that kind of crap. It doesn't like I was mentioning this on Max's stream. Like, remember the Cheerios commercial with the biracial couple?
Oh yeah.
Right? And like people lost their shit because they had like the little girl and they were like really angry at having a white woman and a black guy be married with children and these commercials and whatnot.
My parents.
How dare they? How dare they have children and be a happy family? How dare you?
How dare you showcase fatherness in a positive light?
A black father that is there.
How dare you not show a
if they would
black man
exactly
going to the store for cigarettes and never coming back.
He was there at the breakfast table. If it would have just done a smash cut to an empty seat with an ashtray full of cigarettes, that would have been so bad. But no, Saggy. They wanted to show that he was there for his daughter.
How dare they show a black man actually taking care of a child? Don't you know the stereotypes, damn it?
Oh my God.
It's so bad. Sunblade here says, Matt, this video is a gigantic dog whistle. It is.
Oh, remember with the backlash when Jake from State Farm actually showed up on the actual commercial and it was a black guy and everyone was like, "What?" Like, there was a lot of people that were mad that it wasn't a white guy for some reason.
Weird. People are so fucking weird.
But again, I want to stress that if you go back and watch 90s commercials, they were very weird, but they also had that same like the dumb dad. Like it's not changed.
But do you know why they do that though? Because like this is true. Women are the predominant spenders in the household. The
Right.
marketing, when they do the marketing like this, it's literally to market to women to get something. Dudes just don't care. Like
Right.
guys just don't fucking care. Like
Women be
No, we
shopping.
need the commercials. We want commercials gone.
yeah,
Like,
we
we
don't
don't
like
care about
commercials
commercials.
because men don't want to shop. Like, you know, we just
Oh,
like
and women do, yeah.
yeah,
That's
it's like there's the market for that. Like that's what it boils down
Right.
to. But he's just going off about like men and these things, like not
Look at
understanding,
commercials nowadays. They're
you know.
making men dumb, even though we were always dumb.
It's I understand. I guess I should say I understand the argument, but it's like without going back and looking at like that this is not a new thing. And this is where you look at these again. His name is the critical drinker. Focus on the drinking part. These
Oh.
guys don't have a lens, or they don't have a working idea of how anything was before 5 years ago. I swear to God. I swear to God, before The Last Jedi or before Ghostbusters 2016, they don't know how any of this stuff works. They have no working knowledge of it past before then because they've never thought about it. Because everything from back then was really catered towards them. And guess what? The vast majority of it now is still catered towards them. Right? Like Liam Neeson is still in 25 action movies a year.
He is.
Oh yeah. You know, like Netflix puts
Bruce
out
Willis.
Bruce Willis is in a lot. Well, not so much anymore, but he
Well,
was
yeah.
for a time, for a spell. Bruce
For a
Willis
spell,
was,
he was in 100 of them every year.
yeah. And that, what about the fact that was people taking advantage of him in his delineated mental state? There's a lot, you know. It's like, but no, they hate
No,
men.
but he's a strong white man in the movie. We need to keep him.
It's, Jesus, let's keep going.
And needing someone more diverse to bail them out. Go ahead, I'll wait. Now, this is a trend that I've noticed creeping into films and TV for quite some time now, and I think the problem comes in a number of different flavours, or tropes if you will. So let's take some time to look at each one.
Flavors?
Sorry. He says tropes, and I'm immediately drawn. To this right here. Everything is woke, everything is political, everything is SJW, and you have to point it all out. All these guys, all this is now is just flat out, they're all Anita Sarkeesian. The critical drinker is literally doing, and this is something that the Amazing Atheist pointed out the other day, so I want to give him credit for saying this because he's 100% right. But no, he calls out, he's like, what the critical drinker is doing is 100% what Anita Sarkeesian tried back in 2012, but it's more popular because it's aimed at a very broad subject rather than like, instead of like tropes versus women in video games where it's like attacking tropes and many times getting a lot of factoids wrong. This is doing the same thing, but it's going like, but now they hate you. Not like there was always problems with you, which is what Anita was trying to say. Now they're saying, oh no, now they just want to erase you. And that goes into the whole identity politics aspect of it. All these guys that are like, I hate identity politics. Bitch, your video is titled Why, like they hate men. That's
Right.
identity politics. That's the funniest fucking thing about this is that it's all like, it's so hypocritical. These guys are they like either they do this willingly, Kate and Isaki, or they don't know that they do this. And I
think it's a
really
bit
think
of
it's the
both.
latter.
They do.
just-
They do. 100% they do it on purpose because it's literally, like I said, it's all about the agenda, right? Again, hate clicks. How do we get people to hate stuff is by inserting agendas where there is none. Oh, they hate men. Bitch, who hates men? Oh, everybody in the entertainment industry. Bitch, how? Oh, because XYZ, that makes no sense. Yeah, it's literally, they do this deliberately because they know that that's what their audience wants to hear. That's what they want to believe.
No, that's true. That's very true. Okay, so I would argue it's kind of all right, so I can approach this from how I used to cover this kind of shit, right? So what it is essentially, it's like you get an idea in your head or you look at a headline of an article because a lot of this shit is very much a lot of what they do is relegated by just headlines. You know, it's like because the media and the headlines and everything else. And so they have to form an argument around those headlines. And so they start whipping themselves up. And I don't know what I mean by that is like, yes, I think in part they come at it from the perspective of we have to do this because it's going to hit X, Y, and Z. We're going to get paid. But at the same time, they get themselves so worked up into it that they start to believe their own bullshit. They don't realize that that they're idiotic and that they're making really dumb, invalid arguments, but it doesn't matter because they're trying to strike it on more of an emotional core. If you listen to what he says here, he's really going at it. He's playing up the emotional angle a lot more. You know, like, oh, the dads are bad. And then, you know, they hate fucking men, right? It's fucking hell. You know, like, I don't know. He talks and I just see Shrek. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. Yeah. Like, that's all I get out of Critical Drinker at this point. Just Shrek. You know, I just want to like start playing like All Star from Smash Mouth like as a musical bed to this video. Right? So like they fucking hate you, they hate men. Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. You know what I mean? It's so fucking dumb. Isaac here says that's an insult to Shrek and you know it. Sadly, that's true.
Yeah.
Sadly, that's true. I love Shiny here. Don't you dare compare him to Shrek. Shrek's voice is more enjoyable. Phantom Head Cells, get off my swamp has a new meaning.
I'm laughing because I'm picturing if Shrek had a YouTube channel.
If Shrek had a YouTube channel, he'd be an angry culture warrior. That Farquaad out here putting these magical creatures in my swamp. I was here first.
Oh my god.
This is my land. You'll never take my freedom. Donkey. Put down the jar of peanut butter, donkey.
I can't with you.
Oh my.
Oh my god. Anyway, guys, let's keep moving on. If you're enjoying this, please feel free to crack the like. We got 103 people watching. Let's try to get to 50 likes, guys. We can totally do it. Thank you all. All right.
Turn. And this is going to be a pretty big topic, so I'll probably have to make this video a two-parter to give each one the attention it deserves.
Grift.
And believe me, they're going to get plenty of my attention. Anyway, strap in, dear.
What was that delivery?
Wait, go back, please. Go back.
Okay, hold on.
Topic, so I'll probably have to make this video a two-parter to give each one the attention it deserves. And believe me, they're going to get plenty of my attention.
What is
Plenty
that?
of my attention.
This the way he enunciated the word. It's like, are you driving a windowless van near like a campus? Like, what are you doing right now? Like, are you outside of a sorority?
You just cut cheese and you took a whiff of it, of your own cheese. Like,
oh, believe me, they're gonna get my attention. Attention. Like what kind of delivery is that? That's like that's. Did he hyphen his own shit, like his own script, in order to really write? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't.
Anyway, strap in, dear viewer, as I take you through the tropes of modern male characters. Trope number 1, the death of the stoic man. Pick out any random selection of mainstream movies that are more than 10 or 15 years old and give them a watch. Now pay particular attention to the men in those movies. Watch how they act, how they communicate with each other, the pace and tone and tempo of their conversations. Watch how they carry themselves. Think.
How dare people actually have civil conversations? I can't, bro. What the fuck is this even? Matt, what happened? How dare men have a normal, civilized conversation on the big...
How dare they, Saggy?
How dare they have good communication skills?
What's funny though about this is the first shot is Jamie Foxx, who is not stoic in Collateral.
Oh,
right? He's like, Tom Cruise is stoic the entire movie because, you know, he's a fucking hitman. Right. And like Jamie Foxx is the guy that's, you know, held captive by him. He's the emotional rock of the movie. Like, we're watching it through his perspective. Like, that's the whole point. Yeah, like he's emotional in the movie. You got like he's and now like I think there's this scene right here. There's another no. There's a scene in a nightclub, I think, and that might be the scene. It's been a while since I've seen Collateral,
Oh my
where like he
God.
has to play the stoic part, but it's
Right.
not his natural character in the movie. Also,
No,
there
he's
was a shot
playing
there
the
about
part.
fucking Riggs, or it was Murtaugh, no Riggs from Lethal Weapon. You know, the emotion, the stoic Mel Gibson in the first Lethal Weapon movie,
Oh my
right?
god.
Right? Where he literally handcuffs a guy and then who's going to commit suicide, and they jump off the building together. You know, that kind of stoicism.
That's so stoic.
So stoic.
I love that
Stoic
type
as
of
fuck.
pose. Oh my god. Love it. Love it for them.
Yes.
Love them for that.
So bad. Like, I mean, good on him for grifting 1 million views. Holy shit. But still, like, fucking
Yes.
goddamn. The
Bro.
sad thing is how many incels are influenced by this. You know what I'm saying?
About the subtle
Yeah.
shifts of power and dominance as their scenes progress, the use of pauses and facial expressions and eye contact to clue the audience in on who's dictating the pace of the conversation. Do this and you'll probably begin to pick up on a few things, like the fact that men in older movies are generally able to convey a lot more by saying less. They're generally more reserved and project a kind of quiet confidence. They're less prone to big emotional outbursts or energetic displays of high-strung verbal diarrhea. They spend less time talking about themselves and how things make them feel, and more time grappling with whatever problem or issue is actually at hand.
So why doesn't he take their lead then and shut the fuck up? Because
Yeah.
he's going off now about, like, what did he say about mouthfuls of garbage, right? And then here he is complaining about something from 15 years ago, I guess. It's really
I'm
hold
like
on here.
tuning out of this guy because this guy's like it's angering me. It's like, oh my god.
Oh no,
How
there's
dare-
we're 3 minutes into a 14-minute video.
Oh god. I
This
know.
is a Trek, a Star Trek. Anyways, see, that's called a callback. Bad direction and writing come from a lack of respect, passion, experience with the universe. They adapt. Adaptations need to be made by hardcore fans. That I don't agree with, Command Unit. There has to be a middle ground where, yes, you have people who can do the adaptation, who are able to find the core of the story, but also understand that not everything needs to be in it, and some things have to be adapted. You're never going to get a 1-to-1, and the
Never.
people who want a 1-to-1 are kind of like, it's never going to work. It's just never going to work because there's so much that goes on. Like, you're never going to be able to encapsulate the inner monologue from from a character in a book. It's going to have to be displayed in other ways, right? And that's going to be part of the adaptation process of it. I think definitely having fans at the helm who love the stuff is going to be a good start, but otherwise it doesn't need. It's not a thing that needs to be entirely there. I guess there's more to talk about that later, but.
When they decide to show aggression, it's generally controlled and carefully measured and deployed at just the right moment for maximum impact. They're less likely to admit to personal weaknesses, insecurity, and emotional fragility, or complain about physical discomfort and danger. In writing terms, this is
Wait.
what we refer to as
Hold up. Did
There
he
was
just
Logan.
did he just show Steve Rogers and Tony Stark in that?
Yeah.
Two people who have said their discomfort and shown their emotion.
Isn't the entirety of Iron Man 3 is
The whole point of Tony Stark's,
PTSD?
yes, and also not only that, the whole point of Tony Stark's arc is that he has emotions and connections with Pepper, Happy, Peter, and all these characters, that he left them with something. And that message that he left them was his, like, him telling them his, like, even though he told them multiple times before, even telling them again his emotion and his love for them. Like, tell me you didn't understand Tony Stark's whole arc without telling me you don't understand Tony Stark's whole arc.
Well, we can look at a lot of this and realize that he doesn't understand what the
No,
fuck he's
he doesn't
saying.
understand a lot of things. And it just reminds me of that clip where he says he loves Asian cinema and or Japanese cinema or whatever, and he just names off of a bunch of Korean and Chinese cinema.
Yeah,
Not a single
I feel like
like-
this entire video is written by ChatGTP. Like I
Yeah.
do. I really feel like this is heavily influenced by AI. Like it's just
Or he
where
didn't-
are the stoic men? And then it's all like, Hollywood wants to do. I don't fucking know. It's so. All right, there's still more to get to here. I know.
Stoicism. A stoic character is one that's generally reserved and emotionally distant, the kind of person who bears their troubles and discomforts without too much complaining. It's a character type most commonly associated with traditional ideas of masculine behaviour. Why? Because that's how men generally act around each other. Now take a look at men in
What
Whoa.
the each other right? It's just what like for one. The male bonding experience is. I don't think he's ever actually bonded with men. I really don't think like.
Well, apparently he was beaten by his father.
Oh, was he? Well, that's
According to
unfortunate.
Dalton's message that I see.
Okay. Well, that look here. I could make a joke, but I'm not going to because that's not cool. But I feel like if that's the case, if he was physically abused and mentally and emotionally abused by his parents, then that kind of stunted growth, right, would definitely is what's on full display here. That being said, he's still presenting it as a serious essay on a topic he clearly doesn't. Is this a Mad Max video? Like, what the fuck?
Oh.
Like, is this just like what the fuck's going on? Like Jesus Christ. At the same time, it's like, look, I was like growing up, my mom and my dad divorced when I was like 1. All right. Like I didn't really have like a fucking solid, like, male role model in the upbringing, but I still went to fucking therapy. Jesus.
So I just asked the AI, why does Hollywood and modern movies hate men? Hollywood and modern movies do not hate men. There are a variety of perspectives and themes represented in film, and it'd be unfair to make a blanket statement about the entire industry or all modern movies. Some movies may depict men in negative or stereotypical ways, but this is not unique to men and can also be a portrayal of women, people of color, and other marginalized groups. Additionally, there are many movies feature strong, positive male characters that explore complex and nuanced ideas about masculinity.
Yeah. I think again, the idea here is that these guys are worried about traditional masculinity, right? Yeah. It's like, dude, for the love of God, stop proving Anita Sarkeesian right, please.
Right.
All right? Because a lot of what she talks about is that deep-rooted toxic masculinity that is generational. This is something that is considered generational trauma. I'm sorry, it is. Like a lot of these guys, they feel like they have to act a certain way, like without realizing that male bonding and male, is not something that's necessarily violent in nature. Like, yes, men will chide each other, they'll rib each other, they'll joke, they'll get a little bit rougher with each other, but like, they'll also like groom each other to form bonds. Like the male bonding experience is not something that is like, it can be something that's intimate as well as being, overtly physical. I think the problem though is that the way media the way media really describes like masculinity is like, yeah, the stoicness of it all is meant to portray a trope in a movie. It's a character who's going from point A to point B. We're going along with the journey, and part of that stoicism also is a way to get around actual character development. Let's be fair. All right. As much as I love the man with no name, the man with no name has very little character development. It's just a stand-in for the audience to enjoy really not having to think much about it. But when you start to actually think about the intimacy of male bonding, of men forming deep bonds with one another, oftentimes these guys view it as, guess what? Gay. They think it's gay. They think it's homo. They think it's that shit. They think it's that's what they think. It's all they all think. I'm not wrong.
No, you're not, and that's why I'm sighing, because it's like literally a man being depicted as having emotions or sensitivity is gay. And it's like, no, it's not. It's literally what every man has experience. Like
Yeah.
it's relatable. Like again, men don't have to always be depicted as tough and strong. That's
Hey,
why the stereotypes
oh,
exist.
Here's my favorite thing. Did you guys like Gaston in the live action Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah,
Right? Luke Evans
yeah. I thought he did great.
I didn't really like it.
sucks cock. Literally,
gay?
he's gay. He's gay.
Oh, I wouldn't know.
He's gay, right?
How would
Yeah.
he get-
You wouldn't know that. You don't know.
Well, let's be
Brock,
fair. Gaston, even in the movie, was kind of
LeFou caught on. LeFou caught on to what was really
Yeah.
happening there, right? But it seemed like LeFou had a nice little moment at the end of that movie, even though people in Russia wouldn't know because it got banned. But it's like, but that's the thing though. A lot of these guys, like anything that they view like that makes them feel a certain way is viewed as homoeroticism. Like they're worried about their masculinity coming into play because like, oh, I don't want to fucking suck dick, dude. You don't have to suck dick to be like emotionally intimate with somebody. Intimacy does not denote sexuality. All right. It just means having a deeper connection.
And I also want to add to that real quick is like, I think that again, men, please, as a woman, I'm telling you that a lot of women really find emotion sexy, emotion and confidence. Like confidence is number one, but also being vulnerable and being emotional. Because like women hate, the one thing that causes a lot of fights between partners is like women are emotional. They kind of want you to be on that same emotional wavelength. But when you're not, because you're a man and you have to act a certain way, that causes more issues because the woman's like, why aren't you feeling? Why are you being so
that is
cold?
true. That is true. And I kind of use the yin and yang theory, right? Like the diagram of yin and yang, where when it comes to sex, women are emotional and that leads to physical, and men are the opposite. Men are physical and that leads to emotional. Men, and that's true. Saki, I think you would agree with me on that. Like women want to feel an emotional connection before generally engaging in sexual acts. And men are kind of just like, let's get it on. But through that physical intimacy comes the emotional connection.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty fucking accurate. So it's a yin and yang. You have to look at it from that perspective.
Right.
So a lot of these guys, like, you know, and I don't want to sit there and blame like porn because I think porn is fine. But it's like, I think some of these guys look at porn and I think it delineates what they understand about intimacy. All right. Because it's like, it is the physical without the intimacy. It's the physical without the emotion, you know? And so like oftentimes like it becomes, again, it's like a positive male role model and things along those lines. It doesn't, they just don't have that. And it's like, you know, it's hard. I just wish there was like, what we need is a better Big Brother program, really, you know, people to like have someone to talk to, because a lot of dudes don't have anyone to really talk to. And, you know, I guess you could call it like the hierarchy of the social structure in some parts of our society are like, you know, men can't have feelings. Well, who denotes that? Is it society that says that? I mean, we're kind of getting to a point now where society is allowing, you know, more of that to take place. But then what you've got is that toxic side of masculinity that throws up the defense, and anyone who speaks like that, gets vulnerable like that, is attacked. Like, here's the thing. Like, I don't like Steven Crowder, right? I think he's an idiot. But yesterday I saw all these videos pop up from all these, like, you know, these like lefty progressive commentators saying like, oh, Steven Crowder admits to being queer. And I'm like, what? And I watched it, and he's doing this like vulnerable, this is from a couple years ago, where he's doing this like vulnerable video talking about his vulnerabilities. He's being open and honest and intimate with his audience about that. And he mentions a brief bisexual phase. And it's like, now that's kind of being used as a mocking point by people on the left who are normally the, like, you know, let's be supportive, raise your pride flag. And I understand that they're doing that to mock him because he comes across as so homophobic in many instances. But again, it's like, that's deep rooted shame on his end that I don't think is mocking. I don't think you should mock him for it.
By
because
the way,
what?
Sorry, I have a question. Is the person that's from The Witcher, right? I thought that's the guy from The Witcher, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because like I think it's also funny too, using this as an example to kind of like go with the narrative. It's like, please know your history as well. Like literally, like, the fashion sense, the way, the mannerisms, like the setting, like fantasy stories always have the not feminine style characters, but that's just how they were depicted in royalty and like kings and queens type of shit. Like it's
but
so
this character
dumb.
right here, this is Dandelion. Dandelion is
He's a great character and a
he's a playwright. He's a bard. He's a poet. He's an entertainer. He's an actor. He is in touch with his emotions, and he uses that as a way to convey who he is and what he's about. So by using him as the opposite to clearly the stoic character to the on the right of the screen, which is Henry Cavill's Geralt of Rivia, who is a stoic character. But if you play the game, you also know that Geralt is really, he's stoic when he needs to be. But there's so many moments where like he's actually not. Like so many, like if Geralt was just a stoic character, you would not have the dialogue choices you have in the game to dig deeper into the conversations and to the relationships between the characters. Like, well, because I'm playing The Witcher 3 right now. So it's like going through it, I like to get the dialogue choices because I like to get the extra bits of story where Geralt actually can go into the conversations and there's understanding. Yes, he has that outward stoicism, but do you know why he has that stoicism? Because it was literally that's part of the byproduct of the mutations that he went through in order to become a Witcher. It's meant to remove all feelings and emotions. But guess what? Underneath the surface, Geralt is full of feelings and full of emotions. And it comes through in a multitude of ways. While he's very stoic when it comes to like slaughtering bandits or killing monsters, things along those lines. But he actively is an emotional character. And I understand what Henry was going for with that. I understand what he was trying to do. It's hard to convey that in a show, by the way. But that's a lot of it. You can't. He did a great job. Yeah. I'm just saying it's bullshit to attack this kind of stuff without like going into like understand. Oh my God. This guy's a writer, apparently. This guy's a writer. He's written books. He's published books, but you know what though? They're like Jason Bourne, Jack Bauer type guys. You know, the stoic male spy. Don't get me wrong. I love those kind of stories, but it's like, you know, like there's a reason why Jack Reacher is a very stoic character, but guess what? There's a lot of emotion with that character as well. And it's just getting under its layers, going back to the Shrek argument, right? It's like a parfait. It's the best damn thing on the whole planet.
The fucking Shrek argument, man. I can't. The Shrek thing is funny. I can't. Because I can't unsee it now. Every time I'm listening to him, I'm just picturing a green ogre, and I just can't, dude.
Yeah. Anyway, we got $2 from Command Unit here. It says, by critical drinker's definition, 40K is woke. Yeah.
I just don't understand like why. Like I get why you're watching it. I mean, it is entertaining to react to, but it's kind of just like it's such a dumb thing that it keeps being said with all these content creators. Like men evolve, and I don't see why men aren't allowed to be portrayed as being freaking human beings. Like everyone on like these are the same people who will like rally against, oh, men are victims too, and men can be beaten by women, and it's awful. But then you show men being weak and vulnerable, and it's like they can't be that; they have to be strong. It's like the most weirdest argument from the same people who are, in my opinion, is hypocritical. It really is hypocritical that y'all issue is that men are portrayed with feelings, emotions, and they're not gruff men, stereotypical men. That's a problem. Men have been pretty much brainwashed. Sorry, I'm getting a little sleepy. Men have been brainwashed to think that they are supposed to be a certain way. You men are raised to feel you can't cry. Crying's for women. Like how many times I know you guys have heard that before. Don't cry.
Oh yeah.
Men don't cry. Why can't men cry? That you know what I'm saying? And it's disgusting that there's still people who want that and are still pushing those stereotypes. Sorry,
I think no, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, so like, for example, right. My girlfriend, the other day found these, like these fake snowballs. They're like very soft and she bought a couple bags of them. And so tonight before I went out doing delivery driving, my 3-year-old grabbed one of the bags, opened it up, and wanted to play snowball fight in their bedroom. And so for about 10 minutes before, I had to leave, but I delayed it by about 10 minutes. So her sister, her and I could all just have this like fake snowball fight in their bedroom. And you know why? Just so I could hear both of my daughters giggle and have fun and make memories. Right? So I could spend time with my children in a way that was playful and fun and, and everything else. Like, that's being a man. That's being a parent. That's being a father. That's being there for your children. I had to go, but my daughter wanted to spend time with me. I'm like, all right, you know what? We'll make a little bit of time. We'll do this. That's the whole point, is like, you can be emotional. There's nothing wrong with being emotional. We're all emotional. When you watch a movie, it's meant to invoke emotion. When you play a game, it's meant to invoke emotion. You are meant to feel based upon what you are watching. Like, that's the whole fucking point of watching this stuff, of engaging with art. You're meant to feel something. But it's like, this is some of the most like lazy shit I've fucking seen. And we still got 11 minutes to go. And I'm like, you know what? Let's dive in. It's just, oh fuck it. You know what? I'll tell you, I'm just going to say it. I just want to go to Critical Drinker and I want to just give him a fucking hug.
Yeah. That's what I
And
was
just
gonna
tell
say,
him it's
like,
okay. And just tell him it's okay.
Oh, I want to be his Princess Fiona.
Somebody once told me. Yeah, I want to tuck him in like that scene in Megan when like the girl's upset and then Megan starts singing Titanium. I just watched it last night, by the way.
I was gonna say, I could tell you just watched it.
I just watched it last night. And just tuck him in and just be like, start singing Smash Mouth. It will be okay. It will. Everything's gonna be all right there. Go to sleep, donkey. Go to sleep.
Just sing them the Bob Marley song. Instead of no woman, no cry. No man, no cry.
Yeah, exactly.
Or no, yes men, yes cry.
Let's see. Shogun here says, are men being given mixed messages? Women want a confident man, but they want a man to open up. Is it a problem with semantics? I think it depends on, like, it's situational, I think. Right? I think it's situational. What I mean by that is like, is kind of like, if you, I think one of the better ways to kind of look at it is maybe go back and look at the Brendan Fraser movie Bedazzled. Right? Because like he wants Frances O'Connor. And she's like, oh, I just want a sweet, sensitive man. And so he becomes a sweet, sensitive man who cries at sunsets. And it's over the top, he's everything about him is emotion, but it's too much. It's about finding a balance.
Right. I was just going to say, it's really balance.
It's really about finding a balance.
Right. Because it's like, most women, they don't want a man who's too emotional, because like we have emotions, and if you're more emotional than we are, that's a problem, right? Because like that's a little too much, because like we're supposed to be taking care of each other, but if you're too more emotional than me, now I'm taking care of more of you. But also it's like, yeah, you can be confident, be emotional. It's just like I said, in certain moments, like Jarbo said, it's situational. In certain moments where you should be expected and allowed to be emotional, that's where women want to see. Like, if you guys are fighting and like there's a risk of losing the partner, you crying over me will probably get me to be like, all right, he clearly loves me because he's showing me emotion. He's showing me with his emotions that he loves me and doesn't want me to leave, or he's showing me emotion and showing me that he does care about what's going on with me. So it's like, that's kind of what it is. And like I said, confidence will always be sexy. I always tell guys, listen, I get it. You all have your insecurities too, but your insecurities are nothing if you have confidence with who you are and you have confidence with what you feel like. If you're like, I don't care if I'm a little extra pounds, I can get a bitch, right? That's sexy to most women. Confidence is very attractive. So
confidence is, yeah. But again, confidence also means like being in control and check of your emotions too.
Right.
So it's like understanding, like you can be confident and still have feelings. Like it's not one or the other. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of people tend to forget that. Like the problem though is a lot of these kind of, I want to say like these like, these manliness gurus and whatnot that you see online, they just preach the wrong shit. They try to get you to trick people instead of to opening up as to who you really are. And I think a lot of it also boils down to the fact that a lot of people, especially young men these days, don't know who they are. And that's not to say that they're never going to be able to find it, but it's like when you go, okay, well, what, like what do they want to be when they grow up? They don't know. They don't. They
Right.
might have ideas when they were kids, but that always changes as time goes on. But it's like there's not a lot of nurturing of that when the children are young to kind of establish that confidence about what they want to be and who they are. And I think a lot of it though is just, again, this is generational trauma at play. I would argue, and I've been a very open advocate for this.
I
Like,
also think with the whole knowing who you want to be when you're younger, there's also this kind of like stigma where, like, if it's like you don't know who you want to be when you're younger, you just have an idea, and you don't know what you really want to be when you really honestly probably do know what you want to be when you grow up, but it's like your parents, your uncles or aunts or your grandparents or your cousins, your older cousins are like, you don't really know what you want to be, This
yeah,
is just an idea that you have. It's that type of thing as well. Like it's like that whole thing where even like family or friends are putting you down and putting your confidence down. It's like when we don't need to be doing that to each other. We need to be building each other up, And I think that's not like we can all be emotional together. We can all be confident together. But the one thing is that we always, as it's even though it's in our human DNA to be always competing with each other, I think we still need to put that to the side and still be able to come together and be like, hey, like we're all human and we all have ideas and we all have different opinions on things, but we still are human and we should all love each other and build each other up, you
yeah.
know?
I agree with you on that one. Actually, I wanted to bring this up earlier tonight, but I didn't. But this is a good little segue to that. This is if you guys have seen my movie In Search Of, right? I haven't really done anything with it, but Little Movie Perp watched it, and he actually went on Letterboxd and he wrote this review of it and sent me that this morning. And he says, I didn't see the twist coming. Good acting and some nice character work that touches on the isolation and loneliness that gets guys to do desperate things just to find companionship. Starts off as we're going to do this for the lulz and memes, but we start to get a sense that our lead really is hoping to find love. Hits hard when the ending comes. This is why there's no, maybe we shouldn't be doing this until it's too late. Hell, there isn't even a could be dude/serial killer dialogue trope you find in this B of these. Maybe a line I missed, but I appreciated it. I appreciated the movie's pacing as well. This baby moves for being majority dialogue. I thought that was really sweet, right? So I posted this on my Facebook and I tagged Mark, who is the lead in the movie, and I reminded him that, nearly 13 years ago we made this thing. And he's like, oh, I forgot about that. And I'm all like, and I'm never not going to remind you of it because I'm proud of this movie for whatever the ups and downs of it, right? And I'm proud of Mark for being in the movie. And Mark's my best friend and he's my brother and I love that guy. And, like I always tried to bring him with me on everything that I did. The problem, to do the movies and the shorts and all the bullshit, and I haven't seen him in a number of years now, but it's like, I still think back to those times and like, I always wanted to elevate him with me and not leave him behind. You know what I mean? And that's part of being a friend and that's part of being, a brother and things like that. So, there's all that shit. Right. And so, it's just, you gotta think about that. You just got to think about like how you do this stuff. Anyway, it's kind of a crazy conversation. Command unit here for 5. Thank you, buddy.
But it's a real conversation.
It's a real conversation. It's not
That
something
needs to be had. Like even though it's a real conversation that needs to be had like everywhere, because I feel like we've all lost it in the past couple of years, like with the pandemic and everything. We've lost touch with everyone.
Yeah, it's difficult. We're isolated.
I touch everyone.
You do. That's why you have a rap sheet.
I have a rap sheet. I'm sad to touch them up.
That's why she's not allowed outside of Boston.
This is true. They don't let me out.
There's
They
the
don't even
ankle
let me outside
monitor.
my
Nobody
house.
knows about the ankle monitor.
They don't even let me outside my house.
Let's see. Commander here for 5. Thank you. It says many 40K stories explore men, both human, post-human, and not at their highest and lowest. And I would argue that 40K breaks the stoic trope a lot. Well, it's kind of like when we were watching Hell's Reach, and you have the Rikuzi arc, the main character, and it's like he knew he was gonna like die where he was at. Like that's what he expected to die, but he was doing it for duty. But he also wanted to make sure that his men were protected. You know what I mean? Like he was really, really adamant about that. And he did care about other people. So yeah, I could see how that would be a thing. Let's see. Rational says, I need to find a way to get in search of a crackler or popcorn flicks. I have no fucking idea. If there's possible, I would again, it's for free to watch. ISO-themovie.com. You guys can check it out. It's 72 minutes. It's a quick watch. It'd be faster to watch that than us going through this video. But let's keep going a little bit here.
In mainstream movies today, and pay attention to the same aspects that you looked at before, I can pretty much guarantee you're going to notice a big difference between the two. The men in movies and TV shows now tend to come across as annoyingly talkative and expressive.
What's up?
He brought up Rings of Power in that scene, and
yeah, that was kind of weird.
Door and like the thing is that like again like that whole father son and like that like the brothers and stuff like that whole Numenor stuff is great because it's like it really shows that like yes the son is trying to be like his father but also trying to be his own. And then
that wasn't Isildur. That was his sister.
Oh,
and the guy was the guy who's like trying to hit on her. I forget his name. But your point about Isildur
right
makes sense, right? And that's why it's like that's why Isildur's ending is so tragic if you think about it, right? It's like it's just because you already know it's gonna fucking happen. By the way, Rings of Power on Amazon, fucking amazing show.
Oh my god,
so good. And I love that more people have caught on to that. I love it. I love that now after it's come out, a lot of this attacking it shit has kind of died down,
right?
Because the vast majority of people don't care.
And also, I would like to point out he puts Black Mask, played by Ian McGregor, in this. Clearly, you don't know Black Mask in the comics, because Black Mask in the comics is very expressive as well. On his emotion, like his whole point of being a mobster is to get back at his father. Like. He is like the pure definition of Black Mask is like trying to get revenge, like trying to show his father that he can be someone, like that he can be on his own and still be bigger than his dad. And it's like, and like to use that example as people degrading men now or hating men now is terrible. Again, it just shows you that you don't understand a single character that you're showing in this video.
He doesn't. He really doesn't. That's where I said like part of this feels deliberate. Other parts of it just feel like lazy, and it's hard to tell. And as a result of that, it comes across as being, like hit or miss. But let's keep going.
Reacting emotionally to what other people say and do, instead of coolly observing and keeping their own feelings in check. And this is important because here's a little secret for you boys and girls. The ability to just shut the fuck up for a minute and let an uncomfortable silence stretch out before you is a pretty powerful weapon when it comes to tense conversations, because you're making it clear that you don't care much whether the other person expects a response. You'll speak to them when you're goddamn good and ready.
Does he not understand that like 90%, like over 90% of our communication is nonverbal?
Yes. No, well, yeah, I'm saying I agree, but I don't think he does at all.
Yeah, it's like, you know, De Niro and Pacino. Pacino's expressive. That's the dichotomy of that scene, right? Or I should say the juxtaposition between the characters. Pacino is, Dunkachino, right? Like, ayo, right? You know, like, hoo-ah, Al Pacino. I can't do a Pacino. But it's like,
ass.
Yeah, but he's very expressive. His eyes, his face, everything about Pacino is he oozes expressionism, whereas De Niro is the exact opposite of that, right? I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me? Like that line, the way he delivered that line is so great because he says it so deadpan.
Yeah.
But his lack of emotion is the emotion, right?
Right.
It's like, oh
It's
my
like
fucking God.
It's what they call smizing. With you smile with your eyes, or you speak with your eyes, or you speak with your hands. Like De Niro speaks with his eyes. Like he's telling you his emotion through his eyes,
Yeah.
not through his face or through the way he expresses his hands. He tells you through his eyes, and then Al Pacino does his eyes, his hands. He's like everything, and that's like what's like great about the scene is like that you have one person who's expressive, and then the other person is just like expressive through their eyes, and it's like okay.
I just don't. I mean, yeah. Spherical Manor says De Niro did analyze this. He did,
Yeah.
and he was really good on that. Like, because he, again, he was this, like Billy Crystal was like the straight man who reacted to the, you could say this, the stoicism or whatever, the smizing that De Niro did, and it was the reaction to that stoicism,
Right.
to the character is where the comedy comes from. It's like, I don't like, how the fuck, man, like this is painful.
It's just him misunderstanding everything, or just not even like really like researching into it.
I don't get it. It's just, God. Oh God. It's Steve. Let's see. This ought to be interesting. Steve Trevor. Yeah.
Another. Oh my God. Yeah.
Another kind of stoic male, and but he loves
Steve Trevor is that he's stoic, but he also has emotion, and the fact that he is in love with Diana, and it's just like, and he doesn't get it, it's in his way at sometimes,
Yeah. Well, because he wants to protect her. That's what he believes he has to do.
Right.
That is the, and she's like, I don't need that. Yeah.
And he's like, I think you kind of do. And she's like, no, I don't. And
I mean, but she definitely does in some ways.
That's the thing. Like, it's like they both are right and wrong at the same time. It's like
it's
Diana,
the balance.
It's the balance.
Yin and the yang. Oh, right. Fuck! That's called a callback, critical drinker.
It's exactly that.
But a lot of it is balance. It's just balance, and it's finding it, and the characters. Again, these movies only have like 90 minutes.
What's so great about his sacrifice at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you my pitch for Wonder Woman 84? Right. Here's my pitch, real quick. So it falls off. It comes off of Justice League, right? Because this is before the Snyder Cut. And there was a scene in Justice League where Wonder Woman is talking about loss. She talks about her losing Steve Trevor.
Right.
And so I was like, what if Barry decides to he also fueled by loss of his mother, decides to go back and grab Steve Trevor right before, the plane explodes. Somehow pops in right there, gets up there, gets him out, right? And then in the Speed Force, you could say Reverse Flash, Black Flash, whatever, knocks them off course. That's how he lands in 1984. And Barry did it out of love. It's a better fucking plot than that goddamn movie.
Yeah, but it's like, again, like anything could have been better than that movie.
Better than the plot of the
honestly,
goddamn movie.
Like the crazy thing is like she's the reason why Joss Whedon got fired off Batgirl, but then she still like sexualizes someone in the movie, and it's just like, okay, like what the heck.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's just, the whole thing's a mess. But hey, listen, that's Rational says that's a great plot. I mean, it's just like, it's using the logic of that world. It's like, you know, if he's already dead, then it wouldn't alter the timeline to bring him to the forefront. and then to be there for his friend to give her something. And then that brings Steve Trevor in, and then he's not actually dead. It's better than a monkey's paw. Anyway, that's my pitch for that. Hire me, Hollywood. I'll make you, I don't know, tens of dollars.
Tens of dollars.
Characters today, however, mirror whatever they see and hear instead of imposing their own pace and tone on the conversation. They seem uncomfortable with the idea of protracted silence and feel the need to constantly talk to fill the gaps. Any real action that they take has to be undercut by ironic, self-deprecating humour, which instead of being funny, just makes them come across as insecure and lacking the confidence of their own convictions.
What?
Did he just show?
Really?
He showed
Elrond?
Him, Thor, and Elrond.
I mean,
and like the thing is that to understand Thor's arc, that he needed that moment of self-deprecation and self-doubt. Like,
well, yeah, that grounds him as a character.
yeah, that's what grounds him.
What's up, Saggy? Sorry, you were gonna.
No, it's just like, has this guy never had a fucking conversation with another human being in his life?
Clearly not.
I don't know.
He really hasn't had a genuine conversation that isn't talking about what he hates.
Well, I'll put it to you like this. So bringing up the concept of people not wanting silence, right? And always kind of filling the void. That is true. But that's also a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
That a lot of people have, right? The nervous
and
chatter.
Also that moment with Scott wasn't
he's
his
meeting his hero.
He's
fanboying. Exactly. All that
he's
shit.
Having a fanboy moment. So it's really?
It's so weird. I mean, don't get me wrong. There is a complaint to be made about what you could argue is the Joss Whedification of ensemble dialogue, right? Which is where it's fast paced, it's snappy, it's witty. I mean, Tarantino has done this as well. A lot of other people have done this as well. Christopher McQuarrie has done this as well. So it's not necessarily Joss Whedon, but I'd argue in the most financially successful version of it. But at the same time, these characters are meant to be part of a team. There's a camaraderie. There's going to be the maybe callbacks or in jokes or things like that. We, the audience, are also going to have that connectivity in a way that the characters necessarily aren't going to have yet. And that's just a way to kind of bind us to those scenes and to bind us to those characters as the stories progress. I mean, again, this is a guy, if this guy is a novel writer, okay, and that's fine. No shade.
Right.
But writing a novel is not the same thing as writing a script.
No,
it's not. And I'll tell you, there's no other person that would back me up harder on that than Stephen fucking King himself. All right, go back and watch 1986's Maximum Overdrive or 1987's Maximum Overdrive. He wrote it. He directed it. He was high on cocaine during it. It's a fucking weird. Have you ever seen it? You guys ever seen it?
What is it?
Maximum Overdrive with Emilio Estevez. Stephen King. Holy fucking shit. It's an amazing movie. It's so crazy. He hates it, but I love it. I've never hated that movie. It's basically a comet passes by over Earth and all the machines come alive and start killing people.
Oh.
And it's about a group of survivors stuck at a gas station. And Emilio Estevez is there. The voice of Lisa Simpson, Yeardley Smith, is in the movie. And it's great. It's fucking great. I'm sure the chat will back me up on this one, right? Yeah, the Green Goblin truck. Here comes another load of joy. Calvin Jr. Love Maximum Overdrive.
Didn't you show that clip a while ago or the trailer for it a while ago?
I showed the trailer of it a while ago. Yeah. Love that movie. Fandom NSL here says, so Critical Drinker is basically the Brian Griffin from Family Guy. I mean, no.
No,
He's
Brian
not,
Griffin would actually understand movies, while Critical Drinker doesn't understand shit.
He doesn't understand basic conversation. I don't understand why men having civil conversations, even if they have discourse, is demasculating men.
I fucking bet you If I were to go find his reviews of the Rings of Power and he brought up Elrond and Durin and he starts talking shit about Elrond and Durin's relationship, I'm a fucking scream. I love their friendship. Like it's all like just that is fucking so goddamn good.
Yeah.
Well, if you watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. Especially fucking Disa. Love Disa.
Oh.
Disa's great. Yeah, Kate and I big Disa fans. We
Love
stand Disa. Even when we were watching Wednesday, and she pops up in Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
Right? We're like, oh my god, it's fucking Disa. Yeah. So it's like there's so much in these like this is God fucking Jesus. The goddamn fucking subtleties in the Rings of Power. Like, is he mistaking stoicism for subtlety? Like, is he not getting the deeper? He's not. He's clearly not getting the deeper meaning of the conversations.
No. He has no critical thinking. Even though he's a critical drinker, he has no critical thinking skills.
Yeah, Spherical Man here says that was the best part of Rings of Power. Yeah, Enterprising here says Elrond and Durin have a brother's love kind of friendship. I know. I don't think these guys know what it means to have that. No. You know, it's like what it means to have like that deep love for each other. And again, a lot of I just want to go watch Rings of Power again, man. Fuck that goddamn show is so fucking good. All right, let's keep going on this one. I'm just
like the idea of being assertive and taking decisive action is so silly that it has to be made into a self-conscious joke. Generally speaking, they're easily intimidated and outmatched by strong female personalities, usually folding like a house of cards the moment they're challenged on something, and they're almost never able to hold their own in an argument, even if the facts and general situation actually support their position. They lack both the quick thinking and the belief in themselves needed to press their advantage and assert control over a situation. In functional terms, what you see on screen...
Did he just use Shuri and Bruce Banner's conversation over Vision as an example that women are smarter than men, when legit they told everyone in Black Panther and in Wakanda Forever that Shuri is indeed like one of the smartest, probably the smartest person in the MCU?
I mean, keep in mind they hate that.
Yeah,
they hate that. They hate that Shuri is a smart black woman. They hate that.
God forbid that women can be.
Like, I know, right?
Like Jesus Christ, where is the outrage for like women who are MMA fighters? Like, where is the outrage for women who actually, you know?
Well, they do have outrage, but unless they agree on their politics, then they love them.
Yeah, it's like, you know, well, they probably love Letitia because she was anti-vax. So there's that. But no, it's just like the arguments that he's trying to make there about not, again, it's also like reading the room.
And
it's
also like with the Poe and I forget her name.
Admiral Holdo situation.
That situation was like she was wrong. You know, like that whole scene was like Poe was right. You know?
And well, it was because what they're referring to is that line of "I've known flyboys like you."
Yeah. Right.
And it's like that's the line everyone hates. Like, I mean, the whole part with Luke throwing the lightsaber. Yeah, I don't like that either. I don't like either.
Like, I hate the whole description and depiction of Luke in that movie.
I really do too. I mean, I like the ending of it, but like he shouldn't have died. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into that. That's just the whole fucking argument. But I just, again, the Holdo thing, yeah, you're right. She was wrong. He was right.
Yeah.
Leia was out of commission, and he was trying to do what he felt was the right thing. But also Holdo was in the position of trying to, now she's like trying to make sure everyone survives as long as humanly possible.
Right.
And she had a plan to get to Crate. She had a plan. I think she should have been able to tell him that, because like the situation, I think, would have kind of prompted it. But at the same time, she also knows that he's brash.
Yeah.
So she played her hands close to her chest, which is her right to do as an admiral, I guess.
Yeah. Like, you know, I think that scene to me was like just saying that, like, although yes, like she had, like you were saying, she has a plan. Her plan in the end was not the right.
No,
move.
I never. The funny thing is, like, out of all my complaints of that movie, really, Holdo was never
No, Holdo
was never my biggest one.
no.
Like it should have been
Honestly,
Akbar.
I liked Holdo more than a lot of things in that movie.
If we would have gotten more out of her, her sacrifice would have meant more to the
like
audience.
if you added like 2 more scenes of her, like even if it's in The Force Awakens or Last Jedi, whatever, then yes, her sacrifice would have been
because
way
there's no emotional thing
there's
there.
no
It's
real
like
emotional attachment
it
to
should
her.
have been Akbar. It should have been Akbar.
It should have been.
Right. And I mentioned that I was on the Dane actual fandom, and we're talking about that, and he's just like, he's like, oh, well, that's just nostalgia, and I'm all like, but there's a precedent for it,
But
though.
yeah, there's a precedent and there's like a callback for that.
Yeah,
like,
it's
it's part of his character, and
Yeah.
it's like, and that's
It's a
the thing. Like, right? It's like dude was like there since day one, and he's like been calling these things out, and then for him to have this moment to be like the one person that like becomes the trap, and it's like
oh wow, dude, mind blown. Oh my, I never thought of it from that angle before.
Right?
Like, I mean, I'm there with you, but for him to set the trap,
right? And it's like it would have been like, okay,
dude.
Now like again, there were so many missed moments in that movie that I'm just like, why?
Oh, that's good.
Why,
that's really good. That got my nips hard, dude. Fuck, dude.
Whoa.
No, because like, dude, fuck, God, you know how many times like, I have to argue with people like who support The Last Jedi? They're like, yeah, it doesn't matter that fucking Admiral Akbar died in the movie. No, fuck you, man. Like, if you're like, why kill
Also-
Akbar unceremoniously?
Yeah.
But then
I was just
Leia
like,
can
okay.
fucking Carrie Poppins herself back into the
Right.
goddamn
I'm just
fucking
like,
ship.
okay.
It's so dumb. Like I understand. Like the scene was like, here's the thing is like, there's good in The Last Jedi. It's just its execution was like,
there is, but
it's
execution and then like certain things that they chose to do. Another moment that I wish happened, like I get the whole Yoda and Luke relationship, but I wish to show that like Luke actually accepted Anakin as his father and stuff. I wish Anakin's Force Ghost was there, like at least like
as Hayden or the
like,
original. Well, the original actor's dead, so
yeah, Hayden.
yeah.
Like even if it was like Hayden or like if they did like like whatever they pull some like voiceover thing, whatever. But at least like have that like be like, okay, they've grown together now, and Luke has accepted that, he like even like after so much time, and that Anakin's like, I can actually be there for my son,
Yeah, that would have been good. Actually, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like the fact that Frank Oz voiced Yoda, was
like
great.
I love that scene,
but
it's just that I feel like if you added Hayden Christensen or Anakin's voice, it would have had more deeper meaning. Because like, wow.
Yeah, no, you're right. There's a lot there. That definitely
there was a lot there that happened in The Last Jedi. I'm like, you could have done this and you could have done that, and you didn't. That makes this scene a little less.
God, I wish this is where AI art needs to become a bitter thing, and just go back in and fix The Last Jedi using AI art. Calvin Jr. says Last Jedi rules. I don't care. We can always debate that at another time.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's good in there. There's some just bonehead decisions just hurt me. But that being said, I still love Knives Out and Glass Onion. So it's like, just,
again, I just have this opinion that Rian Johnson should not touch IP.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people say for him to do a Marvel movie, I'm like, no, unless it's not outside of the MCU, then go ahead.
Well, I would like, and I'll say this, and then we'll move back into the video. I would like to see Rian Johnson direct an episode or two of The Mandalorian.
Oh yeah,
right
like,
now,
I would like for him to come back to Star Wars for a little bit, but like,
well, I mean, if it's like if he's
not him writing it.
No, if he's got a good showrunner behind him, right? Like, go look at
have a good writer behind him.
Yeah, like Vince Gilligan Vince Gilligan from Breaking Bad. Like, he was the showrunner.
Right.
And Johnson was able to go in there and fucking direct like the best episode of that show.
Right.
And it's like Jon Favreau as a showrunner, I think could get like a really, really, really good, a good gig out of Johnson. It's like, look at Peyton Reed. Peyton Reed Ant-Man 1, Ant-Man 2. No, okay, they were fine. Goes on in, does Mando, does the fucking spider
Oh.
episode, which is just creepy as shit.
Oh,
Then comes
love the
back with
Spider episode.
the finale, which just blows everyone away.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Marvel and he goes, look, I want the next Avengers Ant-Man movie to be like Avengers level event. And if you look at it now, it looks beautiful. It's more.
And it hasn't. And what I love about this is that like you have Jeff Loveness and like a hint of Jeff Loveness, who is the writer for Rick and Morty, and those shows and Adult Swim, and now he's also writing King Dynasty. So I'm like,
Yeah.
the thing is, it's like it can show you that like yes, with a good writer, a director can be brilliant, and with a good director, a writer can be brilliant as well. But it's just that if you just have a mid director who's also not the greatest writer doing both things, then it's like you get something like The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
So it's like who is a fan of the IP, sure, but also said 5 years before that he likes to piss off fans and piss off the general audience.
Yeah,
So-
that definitely did not do well for him.
Yeah.
In regards to that. But like I said, you know what? We're well past that now.
Yeah.
We're well past that now.
Because he gave us 2 great other movies. So
I really appreciate the other films. Yeah. Rationally for 5. Thank you, buddy. Says, I believe Ryan Johnson said once he only wants to do more Star Wars if he writes the script and isn't beholden to lore or established rule. Hey, listen, I'm on board with that. I agree with Caden. I'm on board with that. Like,
yeah.
if it's something of his own creation, have at it, Haas. All right. Like
Right.
have at it. Like, I'm not going to say shit. If it's like, hey, we want to do the origin story of like fucking Lando Calrissian when he was a kid, written and directed by Ryan Johnson. No, you fuck off.
I'd be
with that
like,
shit.
no. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nope.
No.
Mm-mm.
You
No.
get Ryan Coogler or you fuck off.
Right.
You bring in Michael Jordan or you fuck off.
Right.
Or like whatever. Anyway, yeah, I agree. I agree.
Or you just have Donald Glover choose his team of writers.
Yeah, let Donald Glover do it himself.
Yeah. Like he can write and direct it. Like
Yeah, there we go. He's done a lot of good with that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm using it just as an example. That's all
right.
it is.
Yeah, I know.
All right, let's get back into this mofo.
These days aren't really men in the normal sense. They're basically hyperactive, hyper-emotional, hyper-talkative children forced into men's bodies. They're a kind of shallow, trite projection of what insecure, effeminate, emotionally fragile Hollywood screenwriters imagine men to be, either because they dislike the idea of the masculine, stoic male archetype, or they lack the breadth of life experience to be able to write characters like that in the first place.
That's a self-report right there, by the way. The expertise to write to write it.
Oh.
That's a self-report. That's a self-report, guys. Hands down.
Wow.
Like, also, Harry Potter effeminate? Bitch, you serious?
My God.
Like, I mean, okay, for one, lay off the Jake Lloyd hate, okay? Like, the boy's gone through enough.
Yeah.
All right? Like, I've never...
What's Indiana Jones doing there too?
I think it's meant to act as a juxtaposition between like Black Mask being a child force in a man's body, and then Harrison Ford. By the way, the shot that he uses here, I just want to bring this back up, right? So you got this one here, right? And he cuts to this shot right here. What is this shot? What is that shot? Do you know what shot that is?
Isn't that the shot when the other museum guy comes and takes away?
No, that is when they are going through the jungle and they find something, like Alfred Molina, and they find something, and the camera, you have the silhouetted figure looking out over the river, and then the silhouetted figure turns around and enters the light. This is the very first shot of Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones in that movie.
Right.
So this is the stoic look of Indiana Jones being the boss, being the archaeologist on this journey. All right. This is them like establishing the mystery of who this character is. Like, this is like, it's not like he's very like, it's just, I want to get through this. Don't fuck with my Indiana Jones is all I'm saying. It's just like, oh my God. It's like, yeah, it's the first reveal of Jones. It's like, it's meant to be stoic. It's one of the,
Right, it's supposed to be this mysterious stoic man that we don't know anything about.
sorry, this is my all-time favorite movie. like Raiders is my all-time favorite movie. So it's just, it's like, anyway, yeah, oh my God, guys, he's, all right, let's go.
Kind of shallow, trite projection of what insecure, effeminate, emotionally fragile Hollywood screenwriters imagine men
That's
to
a
be,
child.
either because they
Yeah, I know,
It's
based
a
upon
baby.
It's a child, sir. It's a child, sir. Sorry.
yeah, I know. And then it cuts to fucking Liam Neeson in Schindler's List, like fucking Anakin Skywalker to Schindler. Okay.
That's
You know,
a choice.
that's not too. That's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out. Oh God damn.
Wow.
They dislike the idea of the masculine, stoic male archetype, or they lack the breadth of life experience
Wait,
to be
what?
able to write
That's another
characters.
child.
That's another child.
Why?
Yeah.
That's witnessing his parents getting murdered. Like what?
Oh my God. I can't.
Oh no, he's showing emotion when his parents are dying. Oh, no. That's
Oh no,
terrible
they're
writing,
showing
guys.
little boys and they're supposed to, oh my, I can't.
Orphans. I know all three of them are orphans. Harry Potter, Anakin, and Bruce Wayne, all orphans. And yeah, I know. He's got a weird thing for that.
There's like that in the first place. There seems to be this weird belief that stoic personalities are inherently dangerous and unhealthy.
Oh my
like
God.
men who don't constantly express their every thought and feeling are nothing but fountains of repressed rage and raw emotion. That taking decisive action and wanting to assert control over a tense situation is somehow fundamentally wrong.
So now, by the way, real quick here, he's now just repeating the clips. So he's just got him on like maybe a 5-minute loop.
He
I'm
has to
wondering.
be.
Because now he's just repeating the same shit we saw in the beginning.
Well, if you're a man anyway. And well, to put it bluntly, that's absolute bullshit. The reality is that most of the time, men just don't feel things as deeply as people seem to
Or at
imagine.
least
They don't
that's
tend to get...
what He was.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That line right there, men don't seem to feel things as deeply as people would imagine. That specific line has me literally wanting to ask both of these people for a particular pass. I'm not going to do it, but I'm just saying, it's like this, the response is like, it's that, what the fuck?
Can I say it?
Go. Oh yeah. Go right the hell. Go right the hell
Wait, what
ahead.
am I
Yeah.
saying? Wait, what pass are we saying?
That pass.
Yeah,
That I
but
can't
like in
say.
what
That
context?
I can't
Yeah,
say.
but what in
Like
context?
what?
Inward what?
Yeah.
Nigga, what?
There we go. Thank you.
There
You're
you
welcome.
go.
She said it, folks.
I mean,
Not
I'm black,
me.
I can. I mean, it's true. That I mean, like, this one. This is what I'm listening to this and being quiet because like I'm just taking this in and getting triggered, low key. And it's like I'm a female. Why am I getting triggered by this? And it's because it's like the most dumbest argument. There you have it, folks. Men are not allowed to feel emotions. Bitch, what do you mean? You are a man. You are allowed to feel emotions. You're not even a man. You're a fucking human. Oh my God, this dude's triggering me, dude. Like, it's triggering me. What do you mean? Oh my God, I'm a black. You guys clearly don't watch my YouTube channel. It's fine. I mean, I drop it once in a while when I'm needed, but like,
yeah, I'm the only white person on this panel. So keep that in mind, guys. Like Dark Skipper here says, the drinker did some fantastic reviews on Prometheus and Alien Covenant. I don't know, man. If like
After watching this video,
yeah, like after watching this video,
I don't think any review or anything he talks about is going to be smart or anything at all, because he clearly doesn't understand movies or TV shows.
no, he doesn't. He's like just
So
that
I'm
line.
sure he misunderstood everything in Prometheus and Alien Covenant.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to go. I'll tell you this. I'll be fair. I kind of want to go watch those reviews of him, reviews of those now, only to see how he tackles if he does tackle the whole subtext about David wanting to be human and to also please his father.
Right.
Like does does Wayland Yutani, or just Yutani, right? No,
Yeah.
Was it Wayland Yutani? Was that the full character name?
Okay. Hold on.
Wayland Yutani was the name of the company. It was just like Wayland. It was just Wayland. Yutani
right.
wasn't involved yet. You know, like that whole. I can't, guys. Like it's just. I mean,
Since my brain is like half functioning now because of this video, so
I am so wow. If you command you for $2, Matt, you are part Italian. You are not white, dude. I'm 1% Italian. That's not white enough to say some shit. You know,
listen, Matt learned his lesson back in the day.
I've learned my lesson. Yes, that's very true. Rational says almost 1 a.m. for Matt. I'll tap out or watch. No. I've tomorrow is Saturday. I can sleep in a little bit. Yes, Peter Whalen. Thank you guys. Yeah, we're getting there, but like, ooh, fuck. I still stand by the giving him a hug. I do. But like after more of this, I'm listening to this. It's like
I'll also send him some critical thinking movie and TV videos.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
give him, and then send him a master class of like.
I kind of want to start him off light though. I think Blippi would be a good choice.
Probably.
Like, you know, it's like just to have him go like BLIPPI Blippi. You know?
You know what I just realized something. I think the shock when I say nigga is because people think that I'm black. I think that's what the shock is, because I don't sound like a stereotypical black chick. So when I say that word, they're just like, oh, Saki said the N word. It's like, I'm black, people. I want to make sure y'all remember that. But I'm like, wait, but I don't sound really black. So maybe that's why everyone gets all thrown the fuck off.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Reed here brings up Bluey. What if he tackled Bluey? Oh my God. Bluey is an amazing show. It's a really good show. It's just like, yeah, these guys wouldn't know what to do because the dad, Bandit, is like a positive role model. They would not know what to do. Like, the show was woke because it's got two sisters.
Oh no.
But Music Man does ask, what does black sound like? That's a very fair question, Saggy.
Urban.
I
mean, that's just what it is.
Keely says, I'd love for you to write a book to see if you're a better author than he is. If you haven't listened to my analysis about where he's getting things wrong about character development, I mean, like, sure, I probably could, but I'm also not a novel writer. I'm a screenwriter. My training is in screenwriting, not in novel writing. So it's a little bit different. No, it's true. It's like, that's my training, is how to write scripts, like not novels. They're different beasts.
Whoa, listen, guys, stop playing with me. Y'all know when you're talking to someone who is clearly black. Stop playing games. Y'all know when you're talking to someone who's black.
Real quick though, I'll put it to you like this though, Keely. I did a review a couple years ago of F is for Family season 3. I posted it. It made its way to the F is for Family writers room. The showrunner for the show followed me on Twitter. He's also the co-creator of The Simpsons. So we still communicate. And he followed me because of my analysis of season 3 of F is for Family and how good I analyzed the show by paying attention and pointing out the little intricacies that they did. So, I mean, it's a humble brag, to be fair. But I mean, my whole point is that it's like, you know, there's surface level criticism. This video is surface level criticism, and it's cherry picked nonsense. That is just like, it's frustrating because he doesn't actually, I think, critically think about the media he engages with. And he talks about stereotypes and tropes and shit, and it's like he himself is the trope. He's the stereotype, and I don't think he fucking gets that. Anyway, is there like a part 2? Oh, we're almost at part 2, guys.
Get hung up on things in the same way that other people do. They don't constantly fret and worry over trivial problems. They don't like to be disrespected or treated as the weak link in the chain, and they generally don't complain about minor discomforts or things that nobody can actually fix, because they find that kind of behaviour annoying and off-putting in other people. And yet, that seems to be what we're being force-fed in our fictional characters these days. Jesus, no wonder cinemas are having their worst years in fucking decades. Whatever the reasoning behind it, the result is a kind of frustrating shocking, neutered, childlike interpretation of male behaviour that doesn't really line up with what real, normal people experience day to day. Personally, I find that I can't relate to more and more male characters in movies today because they simply don't talk, act, or look like any of the men I've actually known in my life, and they're definitely not something I'd want to aspire to. Trope number 2.
I don't think he knows any men in his life.
Oh, that's so sad.
I really don't. I don't. If you were to ask him, where's your dad? He'd be like, I don't know. Cut to that. Cut to that shot of an empty chair and an ashtray. Like, he went out for smokes so many years ago, and all he left me was a copy of Shrek 2 on VHS.
You're so dumb, bro. There was like that awkward silence.
I believe, yeah. I've watched a lot of Shrek, motherfuckers.
We can tell because that's all references you were making all night.
I believe. Oh my god, this is.
My head hurts.
Oh, are you serious with that DM, Saggy?
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
Oh my god.
It wasn't live. It was a video.
Oh, okay, it's okay. I
thought it was alive.
Critical drinker ain't so critical. Yeah, critical drink soy. Oof. I mean, it's just like, who does he know in his life that who you want to aspire to? Here's the thing with this, right? Here's my biggest complaint. If he would have provided examples, at least in that first section, of what he believes to be the antithesis to what he's arguing, right? Like the type of character that he wants, we could have potentially had a better discussion. Literally, I mean that, like, legitimately. But instead, it's just a bunch of him and Han and weasel words and nonsense, gobbledygook, really, to get to this deconstructed hero trope. Oh my god. How much of this is going to be Luke Skywalker? How much you want to bet it? Based on the first frame here, we know it's going to be a lot. Okay, let's go.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oops. Okay. Let's see.
2. The deconstructed hero. Remember all those awesome, heroic male characters that you liked when you were growing up? Well, forget about them because they were never actually heroes.
Yes, that's true. Yes, that was Laurie Strode. Laurie Strode from Halloween H2O.
2. Trope number 2. The deconstructed hero. Remember all those awesome, heroic male characters that you liked when you were growing up?
I did not know this.
Now,
male character.
Now, that could be an in-joke, to be fair. It's been rumored that she's a hermaphrodite. I've heard that rumor, but I don't know. I
heard that years ago.
Yeah, I heard that years ago. So that could be a joke. And if that is true, I'll fully admit that's a solid gag, because it's so much of a deep cut that if you don't know that rumor, it's gonna go right over your head.
It went over mine.
It's entirely possible that it could be that rumor of the hermaphrodite thing. Again, I mean, if that's real, and I don't want to give credit,
right?
But if that's real, that's funny. I'll fully admit that's funny. Because I don't think she is, but it's like Richard Gere in the felching. So, do you know what felching is, Caden?
No.
It's a gerbil in the ass.
Oh my god, what the why do you
Why do I know these things? Because I'm an old man, Saggy. I've been around the internet a long fucking time.
What does being an old man have to do with knowing the term where there's something going? You just made my brain break.
I do. You know what? I do what I can. Let's see. Jamie has. Okay, Dark Skippy says Jamie has kids with Christopher Guest. Let's have some respect for the Scream Queen. No, I mean, like, are they adopted?
No.
Good. So then that rumor is not real. But I'm just saying, if this is a reference to that rumor, it's a solid gag. All right. Maybe I'm reaching because the last 7 minutes of this thing have been so bad that, like, I'm just hopeful that something is like witty to make up for the fact that this guy's got 1 million subs.
I don't know why he has 1 million subs in the first place.
I don't know.
Is
I
like
don't know.
like 3/4 of them like a joke? Like to see like what things he say, and like the
Maybe.
1/4 is like actual people who actually listen to him.
I don't know. I mean, I always love a
Like,
good.
that's just me having faith in humanity right there. And honestly, I don't. But oh my god, I forgot he did interview the background directors.
Yeah.
And the background directors like, we watch your channel a lot. But again, there's a difference between liking and watching. And
Yeah.
people took it.
How much felching have I done? Never.
Well, Dalton
lot.
says he has, so
A lot.
It's. I mean, I don't like. I'm. You know. No. It's exit only. You know what I mean?
Dalton, he can fit 3 of them in there.
Oh, that's a baker's.
Why would you
Biggest-
say? Ooh, what the?
someone just posted that Superman baby again, and I'm disgusted.
Speak of
Max,
the devil.
I'm playing GoldenEye. I should be in bed. You should be in bed. You should be sleeping because you should be feeling very bad for your takes earlier tonight. All right, let's get back to this.
Growing up? Well, forget about them because they were never actually heroes in the first place, and modern Hollywood is
What?
determined to prove it to you. And truly, what more
I why are you trying to kill me?
We're never
That
getting
was
this.
I know.
really
I got to
fast.
go back. I got to listen to
That
what he.
was-
I got to hear the
That
argument.
was really fast.
That was yeah. I got to hear the argument on this one.
heroic male characters that you liked when you were growing up? Well, forget about them because they were never actually heroes in the first place, and modern Hollywood is determined to prove it to you. And truly, what more quintessential example could I possibly give to
Called
start
it.
things off than Luke Skywalker, who went from one of the most iconic and beloved heroes in all of cinema to a sad, broken, miserable, and forlorn man living alone on a windswept island and just running out the clock until he could eventually die.
Oh my
Truly, Ryan
God.
Johnson understood exactly what he was doing with this one. He performed the most epic character assassination of all time, determined to kill not just the man, but his legacy along with him. Or how about Rocky Balboa?
So I
I
don't want to go back into the Last Jedi conversation,
No,
but
I'm gonna no. Screw your Last Jedi conversation because we all know that all of y'all had a big bias with that. Listen,
Yeah.
Luke Scott as a normie, right? As a normie Star Wars viewer, I saw the Last Jedi and I understood the grievances with the fans, but like people seem to forget Luke Skywalker's journey and why he was the way he was, right? As a normie, I understood that because I knew the basic lore of Luke Skywalker. He basically lost his parents, right? As a kid, then his only other father figures, which were what? Yoda, Obi-Wan, right? They're gone. Okay, that kid, he suffered a lot of loss. Then to find out that his father, biological father, was not only alive, but fucking evil. And towards the end, his father's redemption arc is he died. He died doing the right thing. So he lost his biological father, whom he already thought he lost. So to lose him again, it's like Luke was at the point where he's like, fuck this. I'm done with being around people. I'm just going to isolate myself. And I understood that as a normie. So again, I get as fans, y'all see it differently.
No, that wasn't the ending. The
But I'm
ending-
saying like, but I'm
the
saying
ending
like,
was him to go find more Jedi.
but
to
I'm
build
saying
the
my
Jedi.
right,
thing.
but I'm saying, Kaden, at the end of that, when you see Luke Skywalker and he's like this, I guess the way this guy's putting it, like a broken person, a broken man. It's like, yeah, no shit. The dude went through a fucking lot growing up. From the moment he was a kid to the moment he became an adult, and now he's an old man. It's like, yeah, I understood that. I mean, again, for you Star Wars fans, I understand y'all didn't like it, but like this is the most dumbest argument. Like the assassination of a character. The character's old. Like, what more did you want? He's old. He's gonna die eventually. So
I wasn't mad that he died. I was mad the way that the lead up to it.
yeah.
Like,
I
I
died,
mean, I get it, but
fine,
I'm just
like-
saying, like the whole thing with bringing it back to Luke Skywalker, like if that's your baseline for why men are being
well, it's like
that's
it's just the
good one.
setup for. I again, I don't want to dive into it too
Yeah.
much. I just feel like the way he died was dumb. You know, and it's like I know there's like defense of like he did something no one had ever seen before. he transferred his consciousness like halfway across the galaxy. And you're like, yeah, and that had kind of been previously established between Rey and, Kylo's discussions earlier in the movie, sure. But it's like, why did he die? And why didn't they die? They did it 3 times. He did it once.
Yeah.
You know? It's like there's questions.
I mean, also there is that whole guilt of not killing his nephew, knowing damn well that motherfucker was gonna be a problem, and then after sparing him, and then he became a problem and did a lot of bad shit. There's the guilt because he's like, I probably should have took you out when I had the chance, but you're my family, and I kind of was hoping that you'd like not
nepotism.
But that's what I mean. It's like I understood like the fans' reactions. Like I thought Luke Skywalker was a great character, but I wasn't like that upset. Like I understood it as a normie. It is what it is. It's called character fucking development. Like,
all right, let's get into the Rocky thing because this is going to trigger some people.
Oh god!
But
Rocky,
but I still have not seen Rocky. HBart sent me the 6-pack. I got to hook up my DVD player this week, so to watch some stuff on DVD. But yeah, I'm gonna not be able to talk much on this because I haven't seen these movies. So I'll leave it to you guys.
Boa, the ultimate underdog and symbol of scrappy, determined optimism. A man who fought his way to the top through sheer determination and willpower, taking down men bigger and stronger than himself through sheer refusal to give up. Then you get to something like Creed, where he's portrayed as a sad, lonely old man who's given up on life. A man who isn't even willing to go through life-saving cancer treatment because he just doesn't care about living anymore. Truly inspiring stuff. Or Jean-Luc Picard, the cultured, intelligent, clear-headed diplomat, capable leader and brave explorer from Star Trek The Next Generation. Once the epitome of the thinking man's hero, now reduced to a confused, frail old man who needs to be put firmly in his place by someone more diverse.
Oh my god.
Sheer fucking hubris.
Yeah, that'll teach you to get ideas above your station, Jean-Luc. Or how about Superman? Surely one of the most long-standing examples of the strong, square-jawed, patriotic male superhero. Well, not in the mind of Zack Snyder, who transformed him into a sullen, brooding, conflicted outsider who doesn't even know if he can or should help humanity in any way. Wow, you really nailed the character there, Zack. Well done, son. Or perhaps James Bond.
Wow, yeah.
Oh
wow.
my god, I couldn't stop laughing because
there is a lot that he has said. What the fuck is this, Max? This is the video of 2023, man. This is the one that finally showed just what exactly Critical Drinker has been drinking. And I'm going to tell you guys right here, right now, I figured out what it is. All right. You guys know what it is?
He's afraid of aging.
He drinks a lot of cum. I mean, whatever's in that bottle, we're talking pure bull semen. We're talking like billions of squiggly little tadpoles jettisoning down his throat into the gullet of his fucking stomach. This guy's got cum brain.
Oh my god.
He's got cum brain.
I can't.
This is the dude. Look, if I had to guess, it's probably his own cum. All right. Like that is how isolated from reality Critical Drinker is. He just is like, I can't expel it. I've got to eat it. I've got to eat. You know, that's his fucking daily dose of protein. Right? Just like fucking just recycle, reduce, reuse.
Oh my god.
Bleach on the rocks.
This is what I said.
Fucking
this is what I said about Luke Skywalker. And I'm sorry y'all disagree, but like, look at the other examples. Rocky becomes an old man. No shit. People age, characters change. Oh my god, he doesn't want to get cancer treatment, bro. Again, as somebody whose grandfather had cancer, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm too old to deal with chemotherapy because I don't want to spend whatever time I have left being fucking sick." I can understand, and that's understandable and relatable. Again, Captain Picard. Yes, they get old and they can't continue to be these manly men because they're fucking old. Cope. And then on top of that, Superman. He's an outsider trying to fit in and figure out. No shit, he's a fucking alien, bro. He's a fucking superhuman on Earth with fucking feeble little vulnerable humans that are fragile. They'll break. He's an alien. Of course they're gonna make him relatable because he is different. He's not. I just can't. I can't. Why? Why are you like this? Why are people on this
It's bad, right? It's bad. This is, again, my God, put the cum down.
Why are people like this?
I don't. I mean, like, look, I haven't seen No Time to Die, but I know, I think generally how it ends. Like, I mean, like the overview of it. So him talking about Bond is clearly going to dive into the Daniel Craig movies.
Wait, pause. I just want to respond to a comment, right? So somebody in the chat says, yeah, but these are movies, not real life. Right. But here's the thing, that the writers are writing stories that are more relatable to real life so that the audience can feel more attachment to these characters. And it's the simple fact that these characters are being written to be, I don't know, somewhat more normal and have feelings and emotions rather than just be just mindless drones. It's like that's the reason why I'm like getting low key triggers. I'm like, this is literally common things that people can relate to and understand. Why are you making it seem like these are things that demasculate males? It doesn't. It makes them fucking human. Like, y'all should be treated like
story
human.
sense for Rocky's story. Like,
Right.
because like you said, like he's like at the end of the Rocky movies, he's like, you know, he's basically done with boxing and everything, and like the last boxing match of his, you know, of his career, and then when we get to Creed, you know, he owns a gym, and is like, you know, and owns a restaurant, you know, and it's just like, you know, he's the town hero, but the town hero who retired, and who's, you know, the grumpy guy down the street. And when Creed comes along, it's like it kind of like, you know, like builds that back up, where he wants to be the mentor now, you know, but he still has to go through life, and that life stuff is cancer, and he's, you know, he wants to act tough,
Adrian.
and when he wants to act tough, he's like, I don't want, you know, I want to do this on my own. And knowing also older people, they also don't really trust doctors and medicine nowadays. So that's another thing.
That is true. Yeah, I mean, it seems the Rocky stuff has okay, he owned a restaurant in Rocky
Owned the
6,
restaurant,
okay.
not the gym. Jeez.
Yeah.
Just the restaurant. But,
So
yeah.
a lot of Max is asking, Robert Meyer Burnett defends his BS. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. Those guys don't really care.
Basically, Dalton, he needs a strong man in his life.
All right, I'm just gonna skip over the Bond stuff because I don't really want to go through that shit. All right, so here's trope number 3. Men are just dumb, I guess. With Bruce Banner there. Okay.
One of the things that really seems to have taken hold in modern entertainment is the idea that the smartest person in the room can never possibly be a man. Whether it's comically brain-dead morons like the Red Guardian from Black Widow, whose one and only character trait is that he can punch things really hard, well, except when he has to actually fight someone important, or supposedly ruthless military leaders like General Hux getting suckered in and provoked into a rage by a "your mum" joke, or the seemingly endless numbers of dumb, corrupt, abusive men in Westworld just lining up to be summarily executed for their crimes. I'm not kidding, pretty much every episode from season 1 onwards is just the same trope repeated over and over again. Or how about Dr. Henry Wu, the brilliant genetic engineer who made Jurassic Park possible? Except it turns out that he wasn't actually all that brilliant after all, because all he really did was piggyback off the research of Charlotte Lockwood, a far more talented and intelligent scientist who nobody had ever heard of until she was retconned into the story later.
Oh, is he gonna complain about Glass Onion as well?
I don't know, maybe, but I mean,
because that whole Doctor Wu thing is basically Miles Braun and Andy.
Yeah, yeah. But the idea though is that with Doctor Wu, it makes sense if you think about it, like, because he sold out to InGen.
Yeah.
So it's like that's the whole thing about like. Okay, moving on. Moving on. I mean, like, don't just
Oh
don't.
god, this is miserable.
I mean, I'm not gonna. I can't defend. I haven't seen Dominion, so I can't defend or attack its merits because I can't. I haven't seen it. But it's like again, it's like, but the character of Wu from at least Jurassic World, you can see that, and then
Yeah.
like it's again, it's just like the
And
corruption. It's corruption.
again,
Uh,
like people, I think people just don't aren't human. If you don't understand like the corruption and the whole stealing ideas part, then I don't think you've really lived life, or at least like watch TV or watch the news, because like we see that in our lives every day that
yeah.
someone steals someone ideas or someone is corrupt. As soon as they get bigger and bigger and bigger, they get corrupted, you know. And
Well, absolute power corrupts absolutely. I mean,
right,
these
and
are most of the shit you see in these movies and these stories, they're usually just long-winded metaphors.
yeah,
Like that's it. Like they're just metaphors for fucking life. I mean, the best way to describe most of this shit, and just from like a purely like just general pop culture religious aspect of it, is go and look at the 10 fucking commandments. That's really about it. Those are just metaphor. You know, I mean, or look at the stories in the Bible. They're metaphors. They're allegories. They're just
How dare you? The friggin' snake in the Garden of Eden was real and it was Satan, you bastard.
well, I mean, I think it was really just about gluttony, but whatever. Um, it's
it was one
it,
of the sins.
it's one of the
Honestly,
sins, yeah, right? Like,
yeah,
that's all I'm trying to say on this is that it's just a lot of this stuff is just this very metaphorical,
yeah,
and it gets lost on these fucking people. Like, I mean, it's just like can't this not everything has to have the deepest of all meanings. Some stuff is relatively like surface level. Like I was talking about this in the Podio commentary for The Mist the other day about how like you have your three layers of leadership, right? You've got like your surprised he hasn't talked about that, where you've got the Andre Bauer stoic lawyer who is, a
right,
Manhattan lawyer who is commanding attention because that's his job and he leads people out, they all die. Then you've got, Mrs. Carmody, the psychotic cult leader who starts off having no power, but because she's able to convincingly speak about these subjects and use people's fear as a way to rally them to her cause, that ends up building her flock. And then you've got David Drayton, the main guy, who is just your everyman, who's just trying to fucking survive.
yep,
But people rally behind him because he's pragmatic and realistic and he's got his priorities straight, and like that's what it is. Like these are just like let's just keep going. I can't, I'm just getting fucking frustrated, man. It's like getting late too, and I'm like, I know you guys Saggy, it's almost 5 a.m. her time. We got to get this thing done. I just can't. This is so bad.
The message is always the same. Men and everything that they do are stupid. They didn't earn or deserve anything that they actually have, and most of the time they need a smarter, stronger, and better female character to get them on track. As another little
Real quick. He does know that, like, in Forrest Gump, Jenny moved away
yep,
when she was a kid, right? Like, she moved away, and then he went off and did everything on his own. He met other people and they helped him along the way, but it was his optimism and his plucky attitude and his never say die attitude that is what propelled him to like go on the adventures that he did. And other people came into his gravitational pull, and they were the ones that then bettered their lives as a result of being around him.
I'm going to sleep.
Okay, go to bed. Yeah, I know. I thank you, Saggy. I appreciate it.
Not
Stay
enough that. This
aside.
guy's a dumbass. Okay, good night, everybody.
Okay, good night. I'm like, oh my God. If he has an editor that did this on just accident and we're overanalyzing the shit, like,
Yeah,
I'm going to be pissed, but I don't know. I don't know. Also, Are we now on the Ghostbusters part? Because we probably would agree on that, but let's go on.
Example here, take Kevin from Ghostbusters 2016. Now, his character is a counterpart to Janine in the original movie. The difference, though, is that Janine was always portrayed as smart, efficient, and good at her job. The comedy in her case mostly stemmed from her exasperation at the others, either because she hadn't been paid or because she was wildly overworked. Yeah, she was sassy and abrasive with people, but one thing she wasn't was dumb. Kevin, on the other hand, isn't just stupid, he's ridiculously, obscenely stupid to the point where you could probably make a genuine argument that his character had moderate to severe learning difficulties. I feel like you're mocking the afflicted here, Paul. The intended humour here was to contrast his physical attractiveness with his complete lack of brains and common sense, in effect making him a male bimbo.
Which actually ends up tying. God, I'm gonna have to. No. I can't defend.
Defending Ghostbusters 2016.
Caden, this is painful. I have to defend Ghostbusters 2016. Like, yes. The juxtaposition there of Kevin's character is that to Rowan. Rowan has been downtrodden because of his looks his entire life. So he seeks to gain power because he has not been appreciated because of the way he looks, and people, they look down on him. Whereas with Kevin, it's the exact opposite. I mean, not necessarily that even has a really like direct correlation in essence to the entire plot of the film, because the two never interact in any meaningful fashion. I mean, well, he does get taken over by him at one point in time. I can't. I don't want to. Nope. We're
Surely
moving on.
One of the most tired of all movie cliches. But again, it's apparently fine to portray men this way because, as we all know, men are dumb, and that's funny. They certainly don't have anything to teach other characters, even if they're far older and more experienced than them. Taking the Luke Skywalker example from earlier, consider how not only does he have no wisdom or lessons of value to impart to Rey, despite his decades of experience with the Force, the dangers of the dark side, and the possibility of redemption, but he actually learns things from her instead. Because one of the other annoying tropes of modern cinema is that you can't have male mentors teaching women anything of value. And I think this problem was best articulated by Kevin Feige when he was asked why Doctor Strange never made an appearance in the TV show WandaVision, when it absolutely would have made sense for the MCU's best magic user to take part in a show that was specifically about magic. Quote, some people might say, oh, it would have been so cool to see Doctor Strange, but it would have taken away from Wanda. We didn't want the end of the show to be commoditized to go to the next movie. Here's the white guy, let me show you how power works. And that right there is the real reason why they didn't want him in the show, because they couldn't stand the idea of a male character teaching a woman anything of value, because it would violate the rules of modern writing, which have apparently decided that men are dumb, they don't know anything of value.
That wasn't like
okay, so like the themes of WandaVision are about her overcoming
responsibility
at the end.
It's on her own.
On her own. I mean, she was kind of
with push,
but understanding and acknowledging that there was mistakes that were made. You know.
Yes,
but it's also about trauma, and it's about coping, and it's about loss and grief, and so, I mean, she is so heartbroken.
And that's why Monica is the perfect person to be there, because she because she wasn't Monica was blipped.
Yeah,
I mean snapped. And
blip snap. It's like the same fucking thing at this point. Yeah,
blipped is when you come back, and snapped is going away. When she was snapped, during that time, her mom passed away, and when she was blipped back, she found out that her mom passed away without any actual time with her mom, you know, because when she was there, it was like them supposed to be leaving the hospital, and because her mom got just discharged, and then when she came back, she learned that her mom came back to the hospital and passed away.
Yeah, there's a lot of you know,
and it was like that time is gone. So, and then that's the whole point of this scene. That's the whole point of the scene when Monica first meets Wanda. It's like there's so for Doctor Strange to come in and be like, "Oh, you did this wrong. This is how you do it," would have been so.
Would have undermined her arc.
It would have undermined and negate the message that Monica was trying to teach her.
Yeah. I mean, and at the end though, she still ended up falling back into the old trap
because of the
because of the dark hold. But then
Yeah.
again, that book had its hold on her
Right.
because she took it without understanding what it was, even though because of Agatha. So it's like there's a lot there about it's just like, yeah, there's consequences to her actions, technically, but it's like it's just it's like I it's
Yeah.
dude, this I mean
I mean,
Cumbering.
again,
Cumbering.
it just I honestly I don't even think you watched WandaVision.
No, I loved how WandaVision tackled
Oh, I love
grief and loss and
WandaVision
everything else.
and
I thought it
how
was amazing.
yeah,
You
but I don't
know,
think he watched it.
I mean, even Thor: Love and Thunder, like I have issues with some pacing in that movie, but I think the emotional resonance of like the core aspect of the story works for me. Right?
Yeah.
Like I have
If you took out
problem
35% of that movie, which was the
yeah, like
jokes, then
Korg, if you took out Korg, and I love Korg in the first movie, but like they overly relied on Korg.
yeah,
And that was Taika kind of doing a bit of a self-insert, which I'm not a big fan of.
right. I think if you take out Korg and like the other jokes, like it's fine with Jane making the jokes that she was making because again, it's like she's dealing with cancer, and she's dealing with becoming a superhero, and so it's like there's one the first time for something that she's ever done, and two she's trying to cope. So it's like Thor's arc in Thor Ragnarok, but for
Yeah.
Jane this time,
Yeah,
and
it's a
it's
lot
more
like
personal.
It's a lot like that. Like,
Yeah.
Darth Skippy here says the critical drinker is partially right. You guys can't deny it. We men are portrayed as idiots nowadays. I think having characters portrayed as not having all the answers does not denote them as being
Idiotic.
idiotic.
Yeah.
It means that characters don't have all the answers. We oftentimes, if you think about it, right?
We all-
If you think back to like what he talks about with these characters, that like these stoic characters, they always have all the answers.
Yeah.
And that's what and that's the idea
And-
there though, is that these characters nowadays are being questioned with stuff that they may not know the answer to.
And the thing is, we don't, because each person's questions and personal experience is personal to them, and we cannot answer every personal question.
Exactly. And
And
so, yeah. go
And
ahead.
so that's why Doctor Strange not being in the show is perfect, because the thing is, yes, Doctor Strange has dealt with trauma and the fact that he lost his sister at a young age, but he has already dealt with that and he's moved on. While Monica it's a recent trauma, and it's like more recent and more resonating with her, so she understands Wanda, but she also gets that what Wanda's doing is bad. So it's like it's the better character to convey that to her.
Yeah. It's just that's the whole point of it, is just it's like you gotta stop and think.
Really
And
think about it.
he doesn't think. He just consumes. He's like he's like a locust. He just consumes and moves on. Doesn't actually take the time to appreciate the nutritional side of things, I guess. All right, then we're getting close to the end of this fucking thing. A minute and a half to
Thank
go.
God.
And they have nothing to teach anyone. And trust me, once you realise that's the thinking behind so much of modern movie making, well, you're never going to be able to unsee it. Now, the thing is, I'm not
What?
saying for 1 second that
I
every
don't
male
know.
character now has to be some domineering, super confident alpha male who eats raw meat and destroys everyone around him just by looking at them. That kind of crushing conformity would be just as tedious and artistically limiting as the strong female character trope that Emily Blunt recently spoke out about. And don't worry, I'm going to address that one in due course. Believe that. But what I am saying is that it would be nice to see a bit of balance and variety for a
really
change,
mad.
instead of
Yeah.
Hollywood trying to push the unhealthy message that masculinity in all its forms is toxic, broken, and needs to change. How about showing us a range of positive male characters? How about acknowledging that men actually have something to offer the world? That the drive, the focus, the protectiveness, the assertiveness, and the competitiveness that comes so naturally to them can be a force for good instead of some destructive.
Hold on. Was that a shot of fucking Broken Arrow with Christian Slater jumping out of the train? Sorry, I know that's a weird, like, it's like a half a second shot. I think it's of Christian Slater jumping out of a train from Broken Arrow. which if you haven't seen, a good movie. But all right, sorry.
Impulse that needs to be curbed and corrected. Trust me, it won't kill you to acknowledge that men, just like women, can be pretty damn awesome at times. And who knows, your audience might just thank you for it too. Anyway, that's gonna do it for part 1.
In
Oh, that
some
was painful.
points, it was very painful. It also sounded like at some points he was getting out of breath and was mad. Like, I'm like, dude, just, oh my god. Like, you're a critical drinker, and yet you don't think critically at all.
No. Nope. Just
Like, critical drinker is supposed to be a play on a critical thinker. Yeah, and you drink. So you kind of combine the two, but you don't critical think at all.
no. That was.
Your name is dumb.
It's. It's fun. I actually lost 12 subscribers since going live with this video. As funny as that is to say.
That's 12 of y'all are dumb.
I'm fine with that. I don't care. I'm not, I don't care about subscribers, to be honest with you. I mean, I appreciate people who are here, but I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, please, no, come on, oh, please, I don't give a shit. It's you know what? Come go. Do what you want to do. You know what? We're all free will motherfuckers. But God, that was a hard video to get through.
Yeah.
That was a very difficult. God, I'm so fucking tired. Oh, whew, man.
Jeez. Okay. God. Wow.
So yeah.
That was draining.
John, this is Matt owes me 2 hours of time. I don't know you shit. You stayed. I blame you.
Yeah, you did this to yourself.
I just, I don't watch a lot of this content. I don't. I thought about like doing like an end of month wrap up for like some of the stupider shit. But I'm like, if every video is gonna be like, I couldn't break down every video, man. But like this one, I felt like I had to, and I'm just drained now. It's just so dumb. So many things said that are just so stupid.
Yeah.
But I think on that note, guys, I'm gonna pass out. I'm exhausted. I should have talked about The Last of Us instead. I mean, yeah, I need to. I know Dane and Fandom Initiative have really been deep diving into his stuff for a while now. Yeah, Dane's kind of going off on this whole thing with going after Critical Drinker and those guys. Mo here for $2. Thank you. Here's some money for your pain. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mo. Go smoke a hooter. I don't know. Is that a thing? Religus here says EFAP will now do a 10-hour video about this video. I don't even know how they have the energy for that. How do you have the energy to sit there for 10 hours and just complain?
That's wow. Okay.
I mean, they must feel pretty privileged to be able to have that. Oh yeah, they're white.
Whoa. Wow.
Oh man, Jesus Christ. So yeah, let's see. Tomorrow, Saturday night, I'll probably end up being on.
Monday's gonna be a big day.
Yeah.
Like that. Wow.
I actually haven't seen Bad Batch yet this season. I've watched like 10 minutes of the first episode. I sat down to watch it. I started falling asleep. It's like sometimes like I start falling asleep. Like I'll get comfortable and then I'm like, I'm going to watch an episode. And then I'm just like, right. But I watched Megan last night. I did watch that. And I thought that was, I'm going to review it for Patio Commentary tomorrow. But like my general thoughts are like, it's fun. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, there's parts missing from this movie.
They said that they're going to release it in unrated.
Yeah. I want to see the unrated cut because it's not that I want like there to be like the violence of when people die, but I feel like it's the motivations for like the last two deaths in the movie. in the elevator. Like, why? That made no sense.
I swear I saw them say that the R-rated cut is coming out.
I saw that
And
too. I
now-
did see that too.
And
We got
now
real.
I looked it up, and now it's not showing up.
Oh,
As
I know
news.
that maybe they had enough material for an unrated cut, because remember the director's like, oh, we thought it was scarier when we were doing reshoots to make it, make it PG-13. It's like, no,
Yeah.
no, the pressure washer scene needed to be rated R. Just saying.
Oh yeah.
Just saying.
That scene.
The accident scene could have been. I mean, I think that was good for what it was. But
yeah,
it was
I
really.
don't think you need to shut.
Yeah,
down.
I don't want to spoil the movie for people who haven't seen it yet, but it's like it's a good movie. You should definitely watch it. It's fun. Like, it's fun. It keeps you going. It's short.
I just love all the funny moments with titanium, and just like, oh my god,
Yeah,
there's
like,
so many scenes. I'm just like, this is hilarious.
My favorite. I'll tell you this though, real quick. My favorite moment is when the ant has to open the toy.
Oh,
because it's just like
she's like, oh,
so much animosity in that scene. It's really great.
Just like when they first showed like her going to that shelf, and I was like, oh, they're gonna call back to that scene later on, and have her open one of those toys.
Yeah. That was really funny. Real quick here, the Fezman, the DC news we're hearing is supposed to come Monday. Who knows if it's real or not? I mean, Monday, let's see, today's the 28th, so Monday's the 30th. Tuesday would be the 31st. So obviously, there's that. Peter Rabbit Defender here for 5. Thank you, buddy. He says, you know what? Chris Score, Eric Weber, Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, and Jeremy Griggs should make one big awful family. They're all god awful people. I mean, yeah, like when you actively sell bullshit to your audience and you grift them. What the fuck was that? Like, I heard some honking and I'm like, it sounds like a train, but there's no train. It sounded like a train, like a train, but there's no trains near me, Caden. Like, literally, there's no. I live in the woods on the other side of a lake. There's no railroad near me. Like, the nearest one's like 6 miles away. So, well, I mean, it is 1:45 in the morning. Maybe I'm hearing. I don't know. But I do agree that they're all bad people. So, I think it's and Robert Meyer Burnett coddles with him. He does. Yeah. Because ultimately they agree on certain things. Modern new Star Trek is shit, but they're all fucking like salivating at the lips for like Picard season 3 when they all attacked Picard season 1.
What?
I don't know. I still find it funny that the showrunner for Star Trek Picard followed me on Twitter.
That was funny.
That was weird. I'm just like, that's fucking wild, dude. But yeah. I mean, like, I've got some random people in the industry who followed me and shit. And I'm like, I'm up there just like fucking making terrible jokes all day long. I'm up there today going like, this is your daily reminder to abolish the MPAA. It's just like, I fucking hate the MPAA, but I'll say stupid shit on Twitter all the time. It's pretty funny. Scipio here says Chris Score didn't start off as a chud, but now he kisses even Ryan Kindle's ass because there's money in it, man. That's all it is, folks. That's all it is. Like, it's just money. It's just money. Like, these guys, they realize that they can sell you on bullshit and it puts coin in their pocket. And it's like, look, I could do the same thing. I really could. Caden could do the same thing. All of us could do the same thing. We choose not to.
Oh, yeah.
We want to just enjoy what we talk about. Like,
Yeah. I don't like, I'm that type of person. If you hate something, just don't talk about it, honestly. Like, you can criticize things, but don't like go on this hate rampage,
Yeah.
Like, that's stupid to me. Like, if you hate something, say you hate it and move on. Like, don't make streams upon videos on why you hate this certain thing or you hate this group of things or whatever, It's just stupid. And
Yeah.
it's-
I just don't get it, man. I'm just like,
and honestly, it's not healthy for your mental health or your physical health or your internal health at all to continue talking about stuff you hate. And it's just like, it's, yeah, like it's not mentally well.
no. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there that is just like, I'm not, again, not trying to shill my own stuff here, but like I really enjoy doing patio commentary. Like I really enjoy researching it. I really enjoy putting together like my thoughts on it. I like to sit down and talk about it and stuff. Cause I think it's just fun to have those conversations. Even if it's just by myself, even if I'm just sitting by myself in a room, like what is it? Like I'm looking at the, so I got the podcast, like, iTunes and stuff, right? So the audio side of it, like the Mist episode, 6 downloads. Prisoners, 6 downloads. Had 4, went to 6. Battle LA, 7, Oblivion, 11. You know what I mean? Like these are small numbers, but it's like it takes time to build anything up, and like that's what I'm trying to do. That's but again, like if you can come and listen and have a good time, that's what I want. That's the biggest thing I want. So, but yeah, oh man, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I'm gonna wrap this thing up because I've been sitting here for 3 hours. Peter Rabbit Vendor here for 2. Thank you. Says Campia should lock R&B in the basement forever. I would like to see Campia kind of maybe kick him.
Can we have Uwe Ball do another boxing match with film credits?
Let's do it. Yeah.
And
although those guys would fucking
and then put all the Geeks and Gamers people and our Robert Meyer Burnett in that ring. So then Uwe Ball can like beat the crap out of all of them. Honestly,
well, he interviewed the Projection Booth podcast just interviewed him recently. And I know he lives in Vancouver, British Columbia. I'm not that far from Vancouver, British Columbia. I should reach out to him, but it's like, and try my hand at talking to him again, because I would make the trek from here to there. I have a passport now. I can do all that shit. Yeah. I would go there. I would love to I'd love to interview him. I'd love to have a conversation with Uwe Boll and be like, yo, dog, like, let's just talk about this shit. Cause like, I'm not like, his movies aren't great, but like, I don't want to attack like Alone in the Dark for being a shitty ass movie.
Right.
Right. Like, I don't want to, I remember going to see House of the Dead in theaters and being like, yeah, this movie's like, it was fun. It was stupid fun, but it was fun. Right. Like
that's the thing. Like I don't really care for Uwe Boll's movies, but I'm like, at least he like was like standing up for his own movies. He's like, it was like, if you don't like my movies, who cares?
Yeah.
Like,
he's like, eventually neither did the Canadian government or the German Film Fund.
No.
But that's neither here nor there. I mean, and he's I think coming back and trying to make more movies again and stuff. And it's like, look, again, like we can watch these things and have a good time about them and shit. Like I think that's why we're here. Like that's my goal at least. And so anyway, I appreciate everybody coming on by, hanging out. I will probably have the news segments clipped out tomorrow for the before noon stuff. That's just like, I got to go back and find it all now. Yeah, we'll chit chat later. Thank you everybody for hanging out. Have yourself a great night and peace the fuck out.